Good morning, it's 8:30 a.m. and we are here for a Central Services update with Tom Gaines.
Good morning, commissioners. I don't know, is Cindy joining us online today, or do you guys know?
That I don't know.
Okay, all right.
I don't see her.
On consent this week, we have Central Services has a number of items. Number 4 is the memorialization of the comments last week about the extra work at Grant County Fairgrounds. Napel Electric is doing all of the underground power for the lights, and this is to add the extra wiring and circuitry for camera installations on those poles as we continue with the infrastructure improvements there. There's a mowing contract that needs to get signed with KD's Lawn Care and Maintenance. The term, it is a 5-year contract. We did do that through a competitive bid process. And the approximate annual value is about $47,000 a year, depending on how many times they mow. It's based on 4 mowings a week, but sometimes they mow 5, sometimes they mow 3. So it's a little bit dependent on that. But this is the third competitive bid that we've done in the time I've been here for a mowing contract at the fairgrounds, and they've won it every time. So GCTS has an approval for numerous Adobe products all on one. The total is $40,724. These are all budgeted software maintenance expenses and were expected. And that's all we have on consent this week. Kevin and I met with Kevin Schmidt, and I met with a contractor remodeling the HR building, the remodel next door. As the rest of the demo occurred, we discovered more structural issues not seen before, and the architect was here with us. It just happened to coincide with the same day he was out for the jail stuff. So he was able to work with the contractor on a good fix. It remains to be seen if there's going to be any kind of a substantial change order or not. It's already impacted the completion time by a couple of weeks. And if we have a couple of minutes at the end of this, I'd like to hop into an executive session to talk about some personnel issues and moves, and some of it has to do with that building. But we'll see at the end. Tomorrow is the pre-application meeting with the city of Moses Lake. I don't really know what to expect. It's at 10 a.m. This coincides with the same time as the facilities and GCTS updates, so I'm not sure if you and I are in that meeting at 10 a.m. I don't know if we want to have those meetings or not, or skip them for tomorrow. I don't know if Cindy will be here. So.
Is Cindy here tomorrow? I don't think so.
Because Kevin,
she'll be here in the morning only, as far as we know.
So we probably should cancel those.
Yeah, Kevin will be with us. Joe is out today. Joe hurt his foot over the weekend. He's on his way to his doctor today to find out what it is. He's not sure what it is, but he's having a really hard time walking. So I don't know if he'll be here tomorrow or not. Keith can be here. Maintenance wise, I don't know how, everybody's going to be kind of out and moving around. Speaking of maintenance, so the move for youth services will happen on Wednesday. Maintenance is up there today working on all the lights and occupancy sensors. So that'll all be done today. So that whole thing should be complete on Wednesday. And then we'll continue to try and get pricing for the windows. And then we'll find out if this structurally we can do it and that kind of stuff. So we're continuing with that. I emailed Craig this morning as well to see if I need to find out what he's doing for interlocal agreements or how he's going to operate a morgue. We're obviously not going to have one up and running. Caitlin did give me some dates today for the board's availability to meet with the hospital next week and maybe the week after. I forwarded those dates and times to Joe Kunkel with the hospital, see if those will work for him, and if they do, then I'll get that scheduled, and we can maybe find out what the hospital is doing, what their plan is with the morgue, if we can use it, not use it. Hopefully, Craig has got something set up with other morgues and other corners that we can keep working, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure what his status on that is. At the fairgrounds, one project remains to be bid. That's the fence. I don't know why I'm struggling with this bid, but I am. I'm hoping to have it published this week. All of the other central services projects are underway, and that includes the bleachers, cameras and lighting, the new PA speakers throughout the fairgrounds, gate lighting, food booth upgrades, water and lights to 5 barns, a new ADA path, the new fence, of course, when it comes, and the removal of the track. Tomorrow, we have a review for Stephen Mann's 1-year review is tomorrow, and Salvador Rodriguez's 6-month review is tomorrow out there at the fairgrounds. So remain busy out there as well. For the jail, our bonds all sold. So we'll be funded May 14th to the tune of $66,205,155.20. To date, we've spent $76,642,000 and are still tracking less than 1% on change orders, which is really incredible for a project of this size. We are still tracking buyout savings of about $9 million and haven't spent any of the $2.5 million or 2.5 million owner's contingency and the 3.2 million general contractor contingency yet. So there's another 5.7 million dollars. Some of that is going to get spent. There are spent. Some change orders are coming, but I think it's going to be a relatively small amount. But we're still tracking really well on this project. I did hear from the PUD about the jail's power. I was told Friday that there are no system upgrades that are required for our project, and that I should have a total cost for power delivery to the site by the end of today. So, yeah, really interested to see what that is, because I have not been able to get the PUD to engage on the pricing structure that they have in the application. As far as I'm concerned, we shouldn't be paying any more than $145,000 to get all of that power delivered. I think they think it's about $400,000. So there's an argument that's going to be had there. If it is that high, so we'll see what happens. I'm looking forward to seeing it. So the DOT has been slow in responding to us on the RAB design. I've had more phone calls with them to try and expedite the approval. We did get comments back, but they weren't actually the comments we needed. We are pushing along as if it's all going to be approved. We do have a change to the RAB to facilitate a specific truck that the PUD has to move substations. It's long and it's heavy. It's going to require truck aprons on the south side of the roundabout. And the engineer and LIDIG are breaking out those costs to keep it separate so I can show the PUD what it costs to add this to the roundabout specific to their needs, in addition to whatever else we're going to have them pay for that. We did have an excellent meeting with Grays Harbor County. They were really impressed with the jail, and they'll be coming out again once we get further along. They're really interested in all facets of how we perform this project. I don't know that they've ever done a very large project out there. They've never done anything that's through an alternative delivery vehicle like we have here. It really felt like we were helping them a lot by providing a local example and sharing our experience with them. They'd been looking at these steel cells. They started looking for cells and the best way to build a cell. And it just so happens that the ones they're interested in are the ones that we're installing. So they were trying to figure out how to get to Georgia or Alabama to see these things, and now here they are. So they were super excited. Yeah, what's that?
They saved them a trip.
Yep. Yeah. So it was really good. I'm filling out the rest of today, part of today, a 13-page questionnaire regarding the PERC hearing. It's almost taken 2 years to get to a point where I have to fill out a 13-page questionnaire. I'm not going to say any more about that, but I'll be trying to fill all that out today. I do have to take Thursday and Friday off again this week. I've got some personal matters at home I have to tend to, so I have a slip here. This just came up over the weekend. I wasn't expecting. Got other things I'm having to cancel too, but so I've got a slip here for you if you don't mind signing. But that's about all I have. I'd like to go into an executive session for about five or 6 minutes to discuss personnel stuff.
We'll go into executive session for 6 minutes, coming out at 8:45 for evaluation or disciplinary?
Evaluation.
Job applicant / evaluation, RCW 42.30.1101G.
Fill out these questions, right? Corey did apply for the job. It was open for a week.
Your executive session is over.
There you go.
Okay, more to come.
Yeah, more to come on all of that. So that's all, and that's pretty much all I've got. I'm happy to know that the bonding process is over. Next week, I'll probably do a short little presentation to you about the bonds, how much it is in total, what our debt service is, what it looks like for, the next 20, 30 years, the maintenance plan for that building with the added debt service now, and how that affected the 5% and that kind of stuff. So just kind of look at an overall long range forecast for that. So we have a good idea of what to expect, how we'll maintain and operate that stuff from a maintenance and technology standpoint, that kind of thing. So it should be good. I know we'd spent 76 million to date, so it was nice to get funded so we could pay for the rest of it. But the job is going exceptionally well, and I think, I don't know. So Leidig was talking. So Leidig typically, most contractors will typically do something they call a top out party, where once you're out of the ground, everything's all dried in, and you're really starting to work on the finished stuff. They'll typically do some kind of a barbecue or some kind of something for everybody on the job. It's kind of a big deal. So he was talking about it the other day, and I said, you should just get a whole bunch of food trucks to come out, get different food trucks, things like that. So I don't know if that's something that you would want to take part in at all, Rob, or, they have to pay for it, right? So but there'd probably be 2-3 food trucks out there. There's 140 guys on the job, so 140 to 150 guys. I don't know, would that be a good idea or not a good idea?
Tom, you probably need to open it up for others, because I just don't want to view it as a conflict here.
Okay.
Just open it up to other food
Well,
businesses.
no, I guess from a number standpoint, like your perspective.
For me,
Yeah.
no.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, that's just not my thing. I
Yeah.
do thousands. I don't
Okay.
do tens. So,
Yeah.
like, I wouldn't, Cindy's saying conflict. I wouldn't come to the courthouse.
Right.
Sage and Son's not worth my time, but
Yeah.
I come because
Yeah.
it's right here.
Gotcha.
So.
Well,
not for
I
me.
say that having no idea how much a food truck
Yeah,
serves,
if you
right?
have
So
a food,
that's the lens I'm
like a
looking
taco
for.
truck in town.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Okay.
Or somebody that's just starting. Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
Yeah.
Not for
It's easier to
me.
do it that way, because then they've got their health permits and all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
It makes more sense.
Like
Yeah.
have to have health permits and L&I and everything else.
Yeah. All right. I'm just looking to throw out ideas to Leidig if they want to do that.
That's not a bad idea. Pop it. I don't spy a taco truck and park on the road
Yeah.
out there.
All right. Okay. Cool. Well, do you guys have any questions for me? So we'll plan, since Kevin's going to be with us tomorrow in that meeting at 10 o'clock. Do you want to have Keith come down and do the GCTS meeting, or do you just want to skip both of them for tomorrow? I don't know that there's that much stuff to go over.
We have.
Yeah, our meeting will probably be about an hour.
I think it'll take that long?
Half hour.
Probably a half
8:30,
hour.
We're doing the commissioner meeting. 9 a.m. HR. So then 10 a.m. would be facilities, 10:15 TS, 10:45 work sessions. We probably wouldn't have that. 11 to 12 would be budget finance, and then it's over. So if we were going to cancel the two, we'd almost do the rest other than budget and finance. But I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Okay. All right.
I would prefer to just have them come, just so we don't sit here for that hour.
I can definitely have Keith come down here for maintenance wise. I could probably have Chris come over from the fairgrounds, or
If he has anything going on, that'd be good to know. If not,
well, I covered most of it. He's pretty busy out there. So Abel accepted the position for public works site supervisor. So we'll be moving him over there, and then we'll be backfilling, looking for a maintenance floor here. So I think that's going to be a great fit. I know that Andy and John both got to know him through HPL and are really comfortable and looking forward to it. So
Anything else?
Nope.
All right, we'll go on recess till 9 a.m.
Wow.
Good morning, it's 9 a.m. and we are here with Development Services for a weekly update. We have Nathan and Jim with us today.
Good morning, Commissioners. Happy Monday. So we are here to discuss a continuation of last week's discussion on decommissioning and reclamation plans and assurances. If you recall, last week where we left off, we were talking about bonding for large-scale solar projects, and I had just come back from a conference with developers nationwide where we were discussing that depending on what county you're in and what state you're in, counties and states do it a little bit differently when they're talking about the assurances in and around decommissioning and reclamation plans. Some counties and states require assurances at the onset of the project. Some counties and states require assurances maybe at the midpoint. Some don't require assurances at all. They think that the monies that could be made off of the recycling are enough to cover any costs for decommissioning. And so the question that I had of the board is, our code allows us to be flexible. It's not flexible in that it requires a decommissioning and reclamation plan. It requires that plan be updated every 5 years to compensate for the rate of inflation. It requires that it has some type of financial assurances, whether that be a letter of credit or a bond. But what it does allow for is it allows for us to be flexible and when we want to deploy those assurances. Do we want to do that at the onset? Do we want to do that at year 5, 10, 15, when the project becomes closer to actually, obviously nearing the end of its life, but more likely to be decommissioned, should things change, because we know things change. Keeping in mind that, the costs of the bond would get added to the cost of the overall development and rolled into ultimately the power purchase agreement, is the consideration that has been top of mind for me, in addition to, all the other costs that are borne on the developer, such as, mitigation for, potential shrub step disturbances and other things. So would be interested to understand if the board had thought about it over the week, and would welcome your thoughts.
I think my position on it was to do it up front, but
And that's what I recall. Yep.
I still think that would be the appropriate thing to do.
And to give some context to the dollars, the most recent project that we are working through, the initial decommissioning estimate was $20 million. They are asking for credit for recycling, and that too seems to be inconsistent depending on the jurisdiction. Some allow for recycling credit, some don't allow for recycling credit. So in this particular case, they put forward an estimate of $20 million, and they're asking for recycling credit to the tune of $10 million. So the bond that they would post for decommissioning and reclamation would be $10 million. The cost, and this is coming from the development community, for that bond is anywhere between 2% and 4%. So not incredibly expensive. Should we allow for recycling? And that would be another question for the board is, should we allow for recycling? That seems to be a big question, because the recycling market is hard to verify and very volatile.
I'm sure it changes a lot.
It does. Yeah.
Well, it will change a lot.
Who does the recycling?
It's a great question. Great question. Now, what is not included in recycling are the modules themselves. So, and the modules are a large financial component, as you can imagine, of the development. in the case of Quincy Valley Solar, the one that's nearest to beginning construction, $159 million estimate to construct the facility. Of that, the modules themselves are $80 million. So what is typical is that those modules are removed at decommissioning because they still have some value, they still have some life expectancy, and so those usually get resold in a third world market because there's still some life there. So what they would be salvaging and recycling then would be the metal components of the racking systems.
So you're saying that the 4% for the recycling includes those modules? Does that include
The 2 to 4% would be the cost of the bond. The bond amount would be the estimate for decommissioning in this one particular instance, the estimate was $20 million. They then are asking for credit for recycling, and the recycling value they estimate to be $10 million. So in theory, what would happen is if they went bankrupt and left this facility at the feet of the county for us to decommission and remove, the thinking is that we would employ somebody, a contractor, to go in there and tear this facility down, and that contractor would take the materials to a recycling facility, and we would receive recycling credit monies towards their bill. And then the balance of what would be left over would be what we would execute on the bond. And they estimate that balance would be $10 million of the supposedly $20 million it would cost to decommission the whole thing, is what they're asking. Now that's that's a slippery slope, because what if the recycling values at that time was not $10 million? What if it's $5 million? And so we've only got $10 million more on a bond and potentially $5 million on the hook for, which is why municipalities often don't allow for recycling credit, because and
that's decommissioning at today's money, right?
And that's at today's money. Now, again, we are reopening the book, so to speak, every 5 years to compensate for the cost of inflation. And quite frankly, we can every 5 years we can modify that developer agreement between the developer and the county and change. Exactly.
Recycling's looking like this is big now.
Correct.
Yeah, I would say starting off, I would not do a recycling credit.
Okay.
And
So the bond cost is roughly $800,000. So it's not, considering the project, I really don't think the 800, if we went to the 20 million, it would stop this project. So I think it's definitely doable.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's it seems to be the norm. It seems to be the higher percentage of municipalities don't allow for recycling because it's so volatile. And what I don't have a feel for by percentage is how many require bonding out of the gate, as opposed to bonding when the project is nearing its midpoint in life. It seems like it's about, if I had to guess, it's about 50-50. 50% of the municipalities don't allow for recycling and bond out of the gate, which is the safe play. So
I would agree with that.
Okay.
I think if we're going to be responsible, that's the way to do it, as much as possible.
Now, I have mentioned, I think, in previous updates that I've met with FSEC on multiple occasions, which is the state, obviously the state equivalency of doing this on the local level. and FSEC has indicated that, they do allow for recycling in their site certifications, but they have indicated that they're going to steer away from allowing for recycling. So I would expect that in future decisions and updates that they make, that they too will not be allowing for recycling. So, and our council, who is working on the developer agreement currently, is of the opinion that has advised us to also not allow for recycling. So, but again, it's board's decision, not council's. So,
We know of anybody that's had to recycle one of these projects?
they're all new.
Nobody knows.
They've not been, exactly. That's the issue is that no, they've never been decommissioned. So we don't know what to expect. Everybody's flying blind, so to speak.
Right.
And it's, important that we have a path forward, because again, the attorneys that are negotiating these leases with these landowners are waiting for us to put a stake in the ground, so to speak, because it affects the leases that they're signing. Because if we are not requiring decommissioning and restoration and bonding and things like that, then they are going to require those things in their lease agreements so that their clients are protected. And what they don't want to do is they don't want to, of course, double dip. So the path that we choose is important to have nailed down so that they can move forward as well. So I think what I'm hearing from the board is that we are not going to allow for recycling, and we are going to require bonding at the onset.
I would agree. Yep.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. I don't have anything else. Meeting with the PUD right after this to talk about solar and trip step. So our two favorite things.
Nothing else?
I think that's it.
All right, we will go into recess now until 9:15.
Okay. Thank you, Bart.
Good morning, it's 9:16 a.m. and we are here with the BOCC office update, and we have the clerk of the board, Barb Vasquez, with us.
Good morning, commissioners. We have a big agenda, so I'll just get right to this. Pending decision spreadsheet I just passed out for you for your upcoming meetings. Review of hearings. You don't have any this week, but you have one next week. So that stuff is posted to the website for
What's
your
next
review.
week's hearing?
A vacation of the Thomas plat.
Hmm.
It's a public works one. Review of this week's meetings. Do you have any questions? Decorah sent an email out that PMRT is canceled for today.
Oh, saw that.
But all the other ones are still going. We amended the calendar because we have two commissioners out tomorrow afternoon. So we squeezed everything into tomorrow morning and canceled some meetings as well.
Yeah, I guess that was one of my meetings, is that meeting tomorrow.
Yes, that's it, all afternoon. Your
Regional Data Center Summit Panel. Should probably do a little research on what exactly I'm doing on the panel.
I'm sure there's an email somewhere about it. Cindy, will you be in it all today?
Sorry, I can't get to my my microphone. This meeting should only be an hour and a half, but typically it goes longer than that. So I'm just gonna play it by ear here and see, how long this meeting is. And sorry about, I didn't realize I didn't receive an email. It was a calendar appointment and it was forwarded to me from, I probably received it. I just don't recall receiving it from, Pam down in Desert Air. So that's why it was last minute, because I wasn't aware that it was gonna happen.
The health district will be here at noon to take the board's picture with Teresa Atkinson. So I need to let them know if you plan to be here.
That may be a stretch because I feel like my priority is probably, well, I know it is. It's doing the gorge and that because it impacts a large portion of my county. So I will be at that meeting until it's over. So
Okay.
I'm sorry. I just didn't know I had it until.
They may decide to reschedule because since you're a health district member, they really wanted you to be there. So I'll let them make that decision and I'll let the board know if the picture is still happening or not.
Okay.
Thank you, Barb.
Okay, there's that. Real quick, my clerks conference was last week. It's the clerks of the board. So this was fully county organized. I didn't get myself organized this morning, so if it's okay, I'll give you my update next week on what that was next week. Commissioner's office staff out of office dates, we got quite a bit. Caitlin will be out this week. She is at an MRSC financial boot camp. Oh, I am out of the office Friday, Monday, and Tuesday for personal days. Carrie is out this week on vacation. Starting next week, Emily is out for 2 weeks. Board of Equalization update to let you know, we started off with 214 applications. And I think I'm down to approximately 195 now. They're slowly starting to, some people are agreeing with the assessor's amended updates. We have the new clerk meeting on May 14th. And then we have a BOE meeting on May 15th. The new member is June 3rd and 4th that will be here at the courthouse. And then the senior member is June 5th. At the meetings, we're going to be going over the connectivity to your guys's monitors. We're doing the OPMA Public Records Act training. So we're gearing up. We're only doing it on Thursdays, so it's going to go out until probably the end of October. That's that. Elected official, department head, agenda review. This is what we have so far. We've moved it from next Monday to the following Monday, the 12th. So is the board okay with this? So Cindy, what it says is the training is going to be lexical policies and trainings that are available. And then discussion, Blair is going to introduce himself and what he's doing. Also a discussion on the compensation study. So
I like it.
good with that? Okay. Kevin?
Yep. No.
Cindy, you're good?
Yep, I'm good with it. Thank you.
Granite County Air and Smoke event, closure event. So Cindy and Kevin, what I understood was that the health district at one of the last meetings, they invited the commissioners to this event. Unfortunately, this event is on Monday, May 5th. And they said that they had stressed how important it was for a commissioner to be there. It's a Monday. So I don't know if you guys recall having that conversation. What is your intent? Is it to be at this event on a Monday?
I was not planning on attending.
Yeah, I don't know how.
What she had said was that they really needed a commissioner to attend, so I will let her know that no commissioners are planning to attend.
Well, Barbara, if you could just let her know that we're actually in session that day and we have meetings. What they're trying to do is get buy-in. So when they do have a smoky event that the commissioners, like the fairgrounds, that we would be on board of closing down the event.
which I'd have a hard time with that. To be honest with you.
Okay.
I'm not, I wouldn't be on board with it unless it was so bad that you couldn't even see. I mean, it's,
No problem. I will let.
Yeah,
them-
I agree with Kevin. I just feel like people can make a personal choice if they want to be outside. They can wear a mask. We can provide masks if needed, but to close something, I feel like we're taking away a right.
I would agree.
Okay, sleep center planning discussion. So Rob, I think you may have an email, something about the sleep center. The commissioners wanted to meet with the city and Hope Source in the county is available on the 20th, but we do not have a response from the city of
The
Moses
city
Lake.
does not plan to attend that meeting. They said that they would recommend to cancel it.
Okay. I was wondering if he had reached out to you.
Yeah, they reached out to me a couple times.
Okay, cancel meeting. Okay, is there anything, well, I guess when you're ready to schedule something, just let us know and then we'll get on that. Okay. I emailed the board, one thing at the conference last week, we were talking about budgets and Grace Harbor County brought this really cool budget book that their clerks had put together. And I forwarded it to you via a link to their website. I know that Grant County used to put books together. Now it's all virtual, but I don't do budget. I don't understand it, but I was highly impressed by these books. And so I just wanted to show it to you because it was pretty
Yeah, I was just looking at it.
amazing, the work that went into it, that everyone can see their budgets. The public gets a copy if they want to. It's like 488 pages, but every budget is outlined. There's like a synopsis with each one of them. And like I said, not suggesting Grant County go to it, but I was highly impressed by it. So I just wanted to show that to you guys.
I think it's great. I mean, being transparent is,
Yeah. And that's on their website too, so the public can see all
Well,
of that. It was,
that makes it
Yeah.
that much easier. They can just go straight to the website,
right.
pick it up, read it. if they
So,
want.
Barb, did the auditor's office put it together or the clerk's office? You said the clerk's office put it together.
Not the clerk's office, the commissioner's clerk of the board and the deputy clerk did. So they got all the information from the auditor and they put it together for the county.
Okay, because the auditor used to do that, but they just ran out of, some people kept their book. I actually was one of the few commissioners that kept my book and looked at it. But it is a lot of work to put that through. And I think the auditor's office, which I do enjoy, Mandy did put a smaller book for me together that I do still grab and look at. But no, I like the books.
Yeah, I thought you especially, Cindy, would be impressed with what they had put together. So I just wanted to share that to you because I was like, wow, that's quite the presentation of all that stuff. So
Yeah, I'll finish looking at it, but
yeah. And again, I was just really impressed with it. Last thing that I have here, the Washington Grow interview that Caitlin has been talking to you about with the tourism. So it's scheduled for all three of you on May 7th at 1:00. They would like you to meet at Cave B. I need a commitment today.
May
They
7th,
have another meeting on May 7th.
May 7th at 1.
Can we just talk about May 7th meeting?
That's a Wednesday, right?
Correct.
May 5th. Luncheon.
May 7th is when I have the assessor's office at my house.
Oh,
So we can get this shit tidied up and dealt with once and for all.
May 7th is?
Yeah, that's the date. I think I'm like 11 a.m. What time did you say?
At 1.
It'll be close.
Well, you drive, you can make it.
Cindy, can I get your commitment to go to that?
Yes, and please put on my calendar, right now, so it doesn't get filled up.
And it is on there because you guys had committed to the interview, but now they're wanting the three of you to be at Cave B. So, Kevin?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I got 3 yeses to be in attendance and it's on your calendar already. Okay,
Oh, it's, I'll be at that EDC luncheon on the 1st as well.
on May 1st?
Yeah.
Okay.
Going to that thing?
Haven't decided yet. It's all about if I have a fire or not a fire.
Okay, that is all that I have. Is Sir Tony on?
Tony's on.
Is he on? Okay, perfect. Okay, do you have any questions for me?
Not at the moment.
I will be upstairs and I'll let the health district know that we do not have Cindy here for the picture, so we may reschedule on that one. So I will let you know. I think that's it. Okay.
And Tony's gonna give an update?
Yes, it's his monthly update with the board.
All right.
Does he show up on the thing?
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Okay, thank you. I'll be right upstairs.
Hello, Tony.
Good morning. How are you guys doing today?
Great, that's a nice looking shirt.
Hey, thank you. I got the logo from someone that's on the board. So I got a just quick update today. Month of February was pretty nice. I saw 57 veterans, both appointment and walk-ins in my office. I started 121 new claims for those veterans. Attended 3 training sessions with other VSOs in the state. I was able to get our Vet Corps Navigator position over to Big Ben for their job fair. She was able to advocate for our office about what we do and what we can do for veterans there. Since then, just that first day, I think I got like 10 calls from people that she talked to that didn't know that we were here. So that was a great place for her to be at. Next, the new position, the new position is still open. Right now we have four applicants that I have to review along with Jerry, who's the vice chair, just so we can see what we can do and when we can bring him in for the interview for that new position. This month, I didn't receive anything from Washington Department of Veterans Affairs as to how many claims were completed and adjudicated. So I don't have any numbers for claims that were completed. But yes, that's all I have for my update. Does the board have any questions for me?
I don't have any right at the moment.
You get your new employee yet?
No, like I said, we have that position opened up. It's open until the 5th of May. So, but we do have 4 applicants and we're going to be reviewing them to go through and see when we can start the interview process. Hopefully right after we close, we can get something started for either the end of the week or the beginning of next week, just to bring someone in to interview.
You plan to move the VVA into that space once it's open?
So the plan is if everything goes, once everything gets done with the building, yes, the VVA will be in one of the offices here. So this way, all of us are working in tandem together in one spot, not one person here and one person up there. But the plan is, yes, for if we do get the building and once the building comes through, is to put them in one of the offices here.
And then what is Hope Sources Veterans Program next door?
So that's it's the SSVF program. I can't remember what the acronym stands for. So basically, what I use them for is whenever there's a veteran that comes over here to me, I get them the initial, okay, what we can do for them in the county, but then I walk them over to SSVF because they are the long-term goal, while we here are just that quick fix, that Band-Aid fix. You know, if they're a homeless veteran that meet all the criteria, we put them in a hotel. And during that hotel stay, we make sure that they go to the appointments with Hope Source to get them, you know, into their program that gives them up to 2 years of housing payments Hope Source has that connection with the community, with landlords and property managers to find housings that fit the veteran's income. If they don't have any income, they try to get them. The case managers try to get them set up either through Social Security or with me, where I can get them income through the VA, whether it's a pension plan or the disability income.
Nice. They're up there working on the building today, I believe, so hopefully that move will be soon.
That sounds great. But yes, no, that's all I have for the updates. Is there any other questions or any other concerns?
No?
Yeah, Tony, I just want to make sure you're still continuing to work with HR in that new position, correct? They'll be
Yes.
helping with the interview.
Yes, we're going to be working together. Right now, they like I said, we initially the closeout was the 21st, but we've been going back and forth with each other just to extend it and just to get interview questions going. They said they're going to give me some interview questions either today or tomorrow, and then from there we're going to go over the questions and see if we need to add any or change the verbiage on the questions.
Okay, thank you.
Perfect. Well, it's good seeing everyone. You guys have a good day.
Next time.
All right, thanks, Tony. We will go into recess until 9:45, and we are back for an accounting update. Good morning, it's 9:45 a.m., and we are here for an accounting update with Mandy Kim. Hello.
Hello. So not much to update. Last week was spent mostly on Tyler. We have all the 23 data in Tyler, and at the last minute, there was some type of error that they needed to get their help desk to look at and see why it wouldn't post it, essentially. So we're working through that to get the 2024 data in. But hopefully once we do, as we've gone through 23, 24 should be easier to get uploaded and submitted, hopefully. HRM, payroll, working through their issues as well. I don't know of anything substantial in that area because I was involved with my side of Tyler, but I do know they had three full days of working with payroll with Tyler. Our last county update with Holly indicated that we don't expect a need to push back any of our go live dates right now. So that's good. But we still have some hurdles to jump. There's been some outstanding questions for 105 employee growth and development fund and the transfer and whether or not that was allowable in the manner that we did it. We got back our response from SAO. I have forwarded to Daryl, and I haven't heard back whether or not he wants further clarification from them. Essentially, they reiterated the rules around budget compliance, and state laws regarding budget compliance, and ultimately leaving it up to the county to demonstrate its compliance with those laws, and bringing up the last point of whether or not 105, evaluating it as whether or not it should be presented at all. So because its revenue source is not consistent and not from a restricted source, it probably shouldn't be presented as a standalone fund in our financials, which just means whatever we do in it throughout the year, we will roll it together with the general fund at the end of the year, making most of the transactions a moot point of whether or not they're current expense or their employee growth. It's merely for management to track those funds in a separate, clean way. I'm not sure I'm pretty sure that's how we're going to end up going, is rolling it up. So transferring it, not transferring it, it's all current expense money at the end of the day.
So I assume Daryl's looking into that as well. Is that part of it?
I don't know what
He's gonna make that decision.
Ultimately, it's going to be your guys' decision. But the reporting piece is my decision, if I include it in the annual report or not. But based on my evaluation, we shouldn't be reporting it as a standalone fund because it doesn't get consistent inflows of restricted resources every year. It is an historic basis. So once say when you don't get those anticipated inflows, that doesn't necessarily mean you don't report that fund that year because you want consistency in your reporting. But this is not a fund that we intend to keep or maintain for year after year. We're going to track these employee development funds until we've completed our survey, completed our increases related to that. I mean, going forward, you can still utilize it if you want to managerially to, like you did this last year, set aside some money that's strictly for changes in employees' bands or new positions. That's perfectly allowable. Capital assets is on your guys' agenda to get that final approval. I know there was some confusion between capital assets and small and attractive assets last week. Capital assets was finished. We were waiting on one item for the small and attractive assets from TS, which we have since received and should be finalizing that. I don't think small and attractive assets requires the same level of approval by the board that the capital assets does. That's a statutory requirement for you guys to review that annually, and that is on your agenda. If not this week, it should be next week because I got it in last week. I'm not sure when their cutoff is for when they put it on your guys' agenda.
Thursday noon.
Okay, so it is on Thursday at noon. So good. So then that will be finito once you guys have formally approved that. Also, I put on the request to get the morgue fund created, so that will be ready when you guys get some of the bond money put in there, or if there's any current expense or any other funds that you want to start to set aside, we'll have that fund available to do that.
Commissioners and Mandy, today at 11 o'clock during the auditor's office update, that's where the resolution to adopt the county inventory of capitalized assets is being approved today.
Oh, today? Okay.
Yeah, during Michelle's update.
Okay, so Michelle and I will be here for that, in case there's any questions. I met with Blair, is it Cook? Blair Coca-Cola, okay, Blair Coke last week, and basically handed off what I have for the insurance-related items. We would have had to go forth and make the transfers as it is now. So I've put in, so we'll see that in April's activities in next month's commissioner's report, all of those charges and where they're over or under as far as what we budgeted. He's in agreement that the insurance fund should be operated like we do with the health insurance fund. All of the premiums and stuff collected should be put in there, and all of the expenses when we get deductibles should be taken out of there. So the premiums shouldn't just be set at what we have to pay that year, but at some percentage higher so that we build a little bit of money. And then so we can cover larger events, larger deductibles, maybe reduce some of our future premiums by being able to have larger deductibles if we've built a pot. I don't know what that's going to look like moving forward, but definitely we'll see some additional increases so that we can start to build money in the self-insurance fund instead of an in and out. And then when we have no money, we're hurting current expense.
Right. That's probably a good idea.
And if there's any corrections because he has the updated lists from Clear Risk Solutions with all of our assets and what we're insuring. And he said that Shane, who's the guy who takes care of it over there, is really good about updating and maintaining that list so that what I had should be fairly good. It should be accurate. But in an off chance they do end up making some changes, then we'll just make a correction to the expenses that we made this month.
Mandy, I just want to thank you for letting us know on our accounts what we have to do by statute and what we don't have to do. So I appreciate that information that you provide during the updates.
Thank you, Cindy.
Done all three yet?
Yeah, that's all I have unless there's anything from you guys. We'll have our finance update tomorrow. Right?
Yep.
Okay. Mondays.
Come on, Dave.
All right, we will go into recess until 10 a.m. when we are back with youth services. Thank you, Mandy. Good morning, it's 10 a.m. and we are here with youth services for an update.
Good morning, this is Scott Olson. I'm coming down for Swahil, Palacios this morning. We have currently 6 youth in custody at Chelan County. However, one of those youth was an intake from our weekend and will be released this morning. So that'll put our numbers down to 5 youth in custody. We will be, that our numbers will change to the end of the week. We'll actually release 1 other youth. So our current numbers would then be at 4 with no additional intake.
Is the other one an age out or?
No, it's just his release date scheduled to be on Friday. So with barring no other intakes for the week, our numbers will be at 4.
Wasn't had yet.
Yeah, it's been a while. Other than that, we are, the juvenile offices, we are moving our Moses Lake office. The move will begin this Wednesday. I know in speaking to Swahil, she wanted me to mention that evidently she was, we were a little frustrated with the timing of that move. Evidently emails were sent out. We did not receive any emails for last week of moving, and we said that we were unable to start moving that quickly. Even this Wednesday was a bit quick, which caused us to have to shuffle and reschedule several evidence-based programming groups with youth in the community, as well as probably missing out on some community engagement boards just due to staffing issues. So it was a little frustrating, the time-wise and the lack of communication, but we are scheduled to move this Wednesday and hopefully get everything moved to the new address. So that's all I really had.
Do you guys need help moving or?
I believe facilities and maintenance is doing the large majority of the move, and our staff, if when time is permitted, since finding this out, has been moving personal items and some of the other items. So I think we're okay. I think the frustrations came for not very good communication last week, not getting any email notice, and the time frame of the move. So I was asked to bring that to attention. So I was at a conference last week, so I didn't hear about it till this morning. So, but that's all I really had, unless you had any questions.
Good for me right now.
You guys gonna be okay up there at that new location?
You know, I believe so. In my career, I started in 1996, so this is for me my 5th move. So
Are you moving?
for our office for
Yeah,
Moses
okay.
Lake, yeah, like the 5th time.
Gotcha.
The juvenile office, we used to be up at that location, and then we moved and then now we're going back. So for me, it's been kind of, hey, I know where that place is at, you know. So I think we'll be fine. It's very hectic when anytime, you know, you're moving and all
Yeah,
this.
moving's not fun.
And with our staff schedules and some of the things, so I said, we'll be okay, we'll get it done. So I haven't been over there yet, so I haven't seen the setup yet. So I think I'm familiar, but you know, I may not. I'm sure some things have changed, so.
Hopefully it works out.
Yep. So, all right.
Anything you need from us?
I'm hopeful that I will see the both of you again sometime soon on a Monday. So it seems like I've been down quite a bit, so it's been very busy.
Thanks for coming.
Nope, not a problem. So,
Can I get some clarifications? Can you spell your last name for me?
Olson,
It's Owen. And what is your title?
I am the Juvenile Services Manager.
Thank you so much.
Not a problem.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
We'll go into recess until 10:15. We are back for a risk and safety coordinator meeting. Good morning, it's 10:16 a.m. and we are here with Blair Cope for a risk update.
Good morning. Just wanted to go over some new claims and updates for you that have come in the past week. We had a Public Works employee claim come in last week up at Silk Lake. An employee was opening the gate. It broke and the employee fell on top of the gate. Led to some injuries. Don't know the severity of it at this time. Brian is working on the details and getting it fixed and taken care of. So just wanted to advise you of that. With the summons and complaint claim, we did forward that to WCRG. That is claim 1743, now the one that sent you. There is no coverage for that because of the taxes. Barbara and Kevin and Catherine, I think that's Rebecca are handling that and are working on addressing that as we speak. So that will be taken care of. That one is for anyone that was the jet one, the person having the charter planes in and out of our fields.
Right.
So don't know the whole severity of that, but he did go after several counties on that one. Claim 1705 is a renew one. Our RAV4 was rear-ended. It has been received, it has been fixed, and they are closing the claim, so that one has been taken care of. So that's one less claim now. Claim 1717, it's a sheriff's office. One of our explorers officers was pulling into a driveway of a business and hit a fence post, causing damage, and that is under our deductible, just under $9,000. So I sent that on to get paid. So hopefully as soon as that's paid, it'll be closed out. So that'll be another claim closed. So with that, I get the claims, I get them, I look at them, verify it, and then I forward it on to the different departments to have them pay it and then wait for them to pay it. So that's what we're currently doing as we speak. I did have a meeting last week with Mandy up in finance, just to go over some of our how we do things and talk about locations, our vehicles, and so we talked about that. And so as I go on, I'll start to verify that with the different departments and verify that, make sure we have everything taken care of. Shane Heston's done a good job with their buildings and our vehicles, but it's also the miscellaneous equipment, making sure we have all that marked. And then it'll be talking with you guys, department heads and finance about how we want to, if we want to continue doing claim payments the way we are, where it gets forwarded to the departments, or if we just want to change it up and run it under a different way. So that'll be something we can discuss at a later time, but it's up to you guys. Shane and I met with Acrisure London for the access policy on Wednesday. We had a really good meeting with them. We answered the questions and concerns they had. It went really well. A lot of the questions and concerns they had, they realized we don't do all that stuff, and so it eased a lot of their concerns. So we'll see what they come back to us with. So hopefully it won't be as near as expensive as we were thinking because of some of the way we were able to answer the questions. Last week I also went with Kevin to go do just an ADA walkthrough of the museum, just to see what's going on because something was brought up to him. So he just wanted me to walk through it and see what I saw. We did notice some things, we made some notes, and that's one thing I can do is that with my ADA, being a coordinator, I can look at it and say, hey, this is what we need to do to be ADA compliant. and how we can start working our way towards that. So I did that with him, but the problem is it does cost money to fix some things, and so it's not cheap at times. Also last week, I went to Renew and walked through their location. Been there a couple times, but haven't really walked through their building. And talked to Bill just about how things are going there, and looked at their building and realized how big it is and how many people are there. So and that was just one of their locations.
How did their flooring look? Were they working on it?
Yeah, they are working on it. It's looking good. Put some blue in the floor, which is, it's an interesting look, but it'll be a little bit different color. So we'll see how it's look when it's all said and done. But yeah, the flooring looks really good. The back room is definitely a lot lighter with the new flooring in there. So it went really well. I have a pretty good relationship with Dell now at that location, and just got to meet some of his people working there, so they'll get to know who I am, and if they have questions or concerns, they can reach out to me, and I'm going to continue to go to the different departments and start doing that with the rest of them. So I've done that with Public Works, and I continue to do that. I've still got to go to Solid Waste and do a walkthrough there, but Andy's asked me to go do that pretty soon, so we'll and just continue doing that. In a couple weeks, so I'll meet the rest of the department heads at the meeting, so that'll be a good thing as well. So they can meet me. That's all I have at this time. Any questions or things you have concerns on or need to do?
That Soap Lake gate, where's that at?
I'd have to look at the form, but it was, I think, at their building up there, their
Maintenance facility or something?
maintenance facility up there. They were opening the gate, and the top bracket gave way, and it just fell down. So I don't know if it was a known issue or what, but so it will be addressed. It will be fixed. It's hard to know to fix something if I don't know about it. So
They should have fixed it before it broke.
exactly. But if it's not turned in or said anything, I don't know if it was or not, so I can't say. But
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm just saying the people that work out there should pay attention.
yeah.
If it's getting wobbly, get somebody to fix it.
Yep, exactly. So be more proactive instead of reactive. Try to get that going. So, like I said, I don't know if something came loose or who knows. It's hard to say without seeing it. So,
All right, sir.
Thank you.
you're welcome.
We will go into recess until 10:30. Good morning, it's 10:31 a.m. and we are here with Del Anderson for a Renew update. Tom was just in here and says hello, Del.
Hello back to Tom. Thank you. Good morning, commissioners. How are you?
Morning. Good.
Good.
I hear your new floor's looking good.
Excuse me?
I hear your new floor's looking good.
It's looking good. I think there's it's a little more contemporary maybe, so it might be 50-50 on if people think it's great or if people don't like it.
Sounds like you're a little 50-50.
Yeah, I might be on the other side of the fence but I do like it is different and added just a little color just into that front area. It's the only place that there will be the color. The rest of it's a blonde plank flooring. So, but it does look a lot better than what we had there.
Good.
I appreciate that. I didn't submit an agenda this week. I just had a couple of topics though to cover with you. The first is that our team's working with HR on 2 positions. I mentioned this a couple of months ago that there's a program called COSOP, and COSOP is the Comprehensive Opioid Stimulant and Substance Use Programs. They have created a grant that Carillon Behavioral Health applied for, and Carillon Behavioral Health contracts us to provide crisis services to Grant County. So they applied for this grant that would add a substance use provider to the crisis team and a substance use peer to the crisis team. So these 2 positions were not budgeted for in our 2025 budget. However, they are being funded through this grant, and the grant dollars were awarded to Carillon, and so those will be a pass-through to us to be able to start recruiting for these two positions. And so I just wanted to give you a heads up as that comes through the PMRT process over the next week or two, that you'll know at least this is what we're expecting and what's being worked on with HR at this time.
How much of that grant will cover those positions?
The grant covers the entire FTEs for both FTEs.
And how do you spell COSO?
COSOP is COSSUP. And it stands for Comprehensive Opioid, Stimulant, and Substance Use Program. The other two items that are coming through for consent agenda this week, one is we received a updated lease agreement with our site in Mattawa, and this one, the price went from $1,600 to $2,000 per month. This term is from May 1st, 2025 through April 30th, 2027. The increased cost was a surprise to me. However, they didn't increase it the last opportunity they had, and we don't really have another choice in that area. And so we are moving forward with this. So you'll see that come across in consent, but wanted you just aware that there is that price difference. So it moved us to $2,000 per month. Looking at market value and those kind of things on leases, it doesn't necessarily take us outside of what the market for our area is and what we're paying for commercial lease opportunities either. So felt in line with that. It just came as a like, oh, that first heart tug of $400 more a month is not what was expected. Still pleased to have a site there. And then the only other topic I had for you as far as consent is that there's a travel request for Crystal Cruz, Alfredo Aguilar, and Christopher Kling. These are individuals that are tied to the Quincy Community Coalition, and they will be going to the CADCA Mid-Year Conference. CADCA stands for Community Anti-Drug Coalitions of America. So these are part of our community coalitions that are across Grant County. We act at Renew as a fiscal agent to these coalitions. And so when they're looking for out-of-state travel or they're making training plans, they go through our county process so that we can release their funds to them. And so that's the other out-of-state training request that you will see coming up. So that's what I have for this morning. I'm kind of short. Do you guys have anything for me?
So you're the fiscal agent for the different coalitions, so their grants come to you guys and then you put them out to them, kind of like how we do for the majority of the county?
Yeah. The coalitions come through a state prevention grant. We have the state contract for prevention services, and then we act as a fiscal agency's community coalition. So that's Moses Lake Community Coalition, the Quincy Coalition. Those are the last two that we have. The Soap Lake Coalition now is with the fire department there. Royal City has Royal Reach, and they're their own separate entity. So the two that we currently have, we act as a fiscal agent for and hold that contract.
And you said Soap Lake's with the fire department?
Yes.
How does Royal Cities act then?
Royal Cities acts as its own entity. So they created a business and they act as a separate entity for themselves. As far as that I understand that, we don't act as a fiscal agent for them. It does create throwing us in that line of fire sometimes with the controversies that occur between the city of Moses Lake currently and the Moses Lake Coalition. So those are things that come up as a part of being the fiscal agent for these projects.
Bill, is there a good day to come by and take a look at the building and meet your staff?
I didn't hear you, Kevin.
So is there a good day to come by and see your building and meet your staff?
Yeah, of course. Honestly, any day is fine. I can be flexible to that, and you can come around and meet staff. Anytime's good.
Okay. I'll have to do that when I'm in Moses.
Yeah, I would love it. That'd be great.
Afternoon.
Same to you, Rob. Anytime would be great to stop in.
All right.
I know our staff would love to see y'all.
Thank you.
Sorry that we couldn't meet this last week either for our presentation on strategy. So I'm looking forward to getting in there on the 12th and being able to present to you guys. We'll have our management team there as well, because I wanted to give them the opportunity to be able to meet you, and so they could be recognized for the work that they've done on this as well.
Great.
Thanks, Dal.
Yeah, you bet. Enjoy a few minutes back in your day.
We'll go into recess until 10:45. Good morning, it's 10:45 a.m. and we are here with the assessor's office and Assessor Melissa McKnight for an update.
So I was out last week dealing with personal issues. No water at my house. During that time, we're going through applications to fill an appraiser position. We just filled one of my clerk positions, and then I had, while I was gone, someone walk into my chief appraiser's office and turn in his keys and badge. He was in his probationary period. He just didn't feel it was a good fit for him. But he left that day. So, talked with HR because we literally just filled that other front clerk position. We can use that group. So we'll be able to get everything done. But just wanted to let you know, we only have 2 people up in the front office. We're making it work. So yeah.
So how many employees are you down now? 2?
2. Yeah, with some relatively, we have a new person still under probationary. Yeah, and then we just lost the one gentleman who was a probationary. But yeah, so that's fun.
Yeah, not fun losing people.
No, it isn't. It was kind of a shock to everybody. So, yeah, we'll be working on that this week. I was notified that we have some potential litigation on a paid under protest. I just responded to the attorneys. I CC'd you in on that because you were on the original claim.
Right.
And then I did send the attorneys the paid under protest letters that we got. It's a state utility. They're done a little bit. They're different. Like, I don't know what kind of involvement. That's a question for Kevin.
Yeah, it didn't make much sense, other than they said that they made a mistake reporting to the state
Yeah.
and overstated their, I don't know, landings or takeoffs or whatever it was. How do we know that?
We don't.
I mean, there's no way for us to verify that, so I don't. It's just kind of odd.
Yeah. And then we are working on a couple of appeals where attorneys are involved. We're working on those right now. Intergate should be, that lawsuit should be settled soon.
For which one?
Intergate, yeah.
The data center?
Yeah. Yeah, all the ones that we have that involve attorneys, right, are data centers. Yeah,
How much time does that take from you?
a lot. I just do it. Part of the job. It takes a lot. All of those take a lot. So, yeah. We're working on some legislation on all that.
Good. That would be helpful.
So, other than that, same old, same old.
Are there other counties that are having those issues, like Douglas County?
Yeah, I actually had a meeting. I was out of the office here, but I still went to all my meetings last week, and one of them was we had our regional assessors meeting, and Jim from Douglas County was there, and we had a little discussion about all of us, the assessors that were there in our district. We were discussing that issue in depth. It's just continues to grow.
Well, that's just it. They need to fix the problem. Here we are, we're paying for it. The state does the evaluations and we pay for their mistakes.
Well, and the problem is the states, there's a law out there that requires them to give us the information, but they're not giving us any information. So how can you do an appraisal? I mean, we'd put in records requests to the PUD to get the their power usage, but they don't like that we do that, and they fight over that and claim that that's not really their usage. I don't know. I think the PUD knows how to bill their usage, and so they just. I mean, and that's the problem, is they're not giving us information.
Well, my question is, if that's not their bill, then do they pay it? Or they pay it under protest?
Oh, they pay it.
I mean, they're gonna pay the bill because
Yeah.
they're using the power.
Yeah. And their power load that they have is usually higher than their usage, so they can all expand. They're all growing. They're all
making money.
Oh yeah, they just don't like, but they're not worth anything, you know. They don't like it. So, and the prosecutors, I mean, who are they going to prosecute for someone not giving information? You know, the manager of the place, are they going to haul them out? Right. You know, so they just got this, oh, nothing gets done, and yeah. The only one really making money on it is their attorney at the cost of our taxpayers, basically. So I have issues with that too. It'll be a topic at our conference that we have in June.
Yeah, well, hopefully they can get some legislation taken care of.
There's been some in the works, and there's we have a solution.
Good.
So other than that, I need to get back and.
Do you have water now?
I do have water. As we had water for 2 hours on Thursday, and it broke. The new part broke.
Then we just, Friday morning, we had to redo the whole thing. We just like messed the start over, so we just, was not an easy fix. It was a lot of digging and
Well, the best.
finding
thing is
people and.
It happened in the spring and not in the winter. Mine always rained in the winter.
Absolutely, and now I have like industrial parts. Because nobody wanted to redo that again.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I'm leaving it open for a couple weeks just to make sure nothing,
Right.
and then I'll
Then you backfill it.
bury it with sand. I do that by hand, because I have too many pipes right there. That was the hard part. Don't drive over here, there's pipes, don't go over here. So, yeah, it was a rough one.
Yeah.
But
Time you get into that, it's not fun.
no.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Well, have a great day.
We will go into recess until 11 a.m. Good morning, it's 11 a.m. and we are here for an auditor's office update with Auditor Michelle Jalen.
Good morning. How are you guys?
Great.
Not a whole lot of updates, just working on Tyler and the normal everyday stuff and trying to help Felicity with retro for the deputies and vendors on our Tyler system. But we're close. We got 23 balanced, ready to roll. Had to close out the year so we can roll into the next year and post our stuff. And there's an account that's hanging out, not letting us close, 23. So Tyler's working on it, trying to get it deleted out of the system so that we can move forward. That's about where we're at on Tyler.
Yeah, it doesn't even have activity in the year. I don't understand why it matters.
I don't know either, but it's there, so they need to get it out. They're gonna have to take it off the back end somehow. That's just, I mean, that's on a test. Well, they have to get it out of prod too, because it's in prod too. But as soon as we get past that, we should be rolling right along. We have all the data and stuff ready. It's just, we're just waiting on them to get it fixed.
They're working on that, I'm assuming.
Yeah. John had to put a ticket in to get it resolved. So hopefully soon, because I think next week back we're on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we're back on with John again. So
Already.
I know it comes by fast. It goes by fast. It's like every other week we're on 3 days with Tyler, 3 full 8-hour days. Trying to push through and get it done. As soon as we get past this, then we go into the projects, the grants. We're gonna do the current grants, aren't we, for July, the new ones? That's all we're putting in, right? Yeah.
Tyler's been fun.
What was that?
Tyler's been fun.
Oh gosh, it's been a blast. It's been a blast. We just can't wait to do it again.
Is it gonna be dialed in so you don't have to do it again?
Oh gosh, I hope so.
What you talking about?
A new software system, a whole new software. I know.
I mean, the dream would be one that the treasurer was on.
Yeah.
But, you know,
But they're not.
do what we can. Is what we got.
I mean, this one can do so much more than our old system, but it's just getting there to make it work right for everyone. It's a lot.
Time consuming.
It's a lot of work. It's killing my hands.
You know, the funny thing is they don't tell you that when you buy the system. It's not until after you've purchased it, then you find all these things out. Make it look so easy.
Yeah.
I'm surprised at how much manual stuff there is, where I would have thought they could just like data dumped a bunch of stuff out of the old system and made it magical.
Yeah, magically convert for us, but it does not do that. I mean, this setting one up is a lot of work. And I think the hardest thing for us is that Tyler does so much more than our system does, and they want us to fill out this data and put it in And we don't even know how to use it, and because we've never used that type of data. So creating it has been a little difficult. But we'll get there. We just have to keep asking people. It's like we've tracked projects and grants differently than what they do.
Have they had any of their TS guys or anybody come down and help you guys at all?
Yeah, Keith has been
RTS
involved.
guys, yes.
Well, I mean, as far as the software.
Or Tyler's side.
Yeah.
Are you talking Tyler's side?
Yeah.
That's all online. And John and Janice, our project manager, with them on that side. And I think that they're working with Keith too, back and forth. So yeah, technically, yeah, they're just not on site. That's the hardest part, is that you have a problem, but you gotta wait for them to fix it, or to have the time to look at it, figure it out, and then tell us what to do.
Right. If you have a problem like that you want fixed right now.
It would be helpful, so that we could
To
be
move
like,
on.
because we keep getting so close and then we can't go any further.
Right.
Yeah. Which is scary when you have July 1st, coming in at you really fast. We're already at the end of April.
Yeah. Be bangers.
And still a lot of stuff to put in. I guess we can't do the grants we currently have because they run July to June. So if we put in all the old ones,
They're
they're
over.
gone. They're done. So we can't do that. So we're waiting, and we're only going to put grants that are current,
Right.
that are from July 1st. So it shouldn't be. It could be just about as many as we have, though.
What?
It could be just about as many as we already have grants.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we'll see how it goes.
Well, hopefully you get there soon.
Yeah. Yes, us too. So we can move on. But that's not all we have for you. I have for you.
Anything else?
Locked in 6 minutes now.
Are we doing this approval of this resolution during this time?
That was my understanding. Barb?
That is correct. We'll have Mandy read her memo and then noting that the board will be signing the resolution. This is an annual thing that needs to be completed. Rob has it, Mandy.
She needs to borrow the memo.
So attached is the above referenced report prepared by the accounting department of the auditor's office. The total dollar amount of capital assets is $4,283,147. The capital asset information for the public works department prepared by Jahara Perez, public works accountant, with the total $69,912,892 for year ending 2024.
And we need a motion made, Barb.
Yes, sir, please.
I didn't get the memo.
Make that motion.
Yeah, you can look at on the agenda what it says.
This is kind of handy. Like having it at my fingertips. Printed copy of the budget.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Just grab it.
Yep.
Make a motion, we approve the resolution adopting the annual county inventory of capitalized assets in the total amount of $4,283,147. Capital asset information for the Public Works Department, prepared by Jahara Perez, PW accountant, in the amount of $69,912,892.
I'll second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes as stated by Commissioner Burgess. Thank you.
Thank you.
Guys have a good rest of your day.
Yay, Kevin, when you get some free time and I'm here, can you pop into my office? I have some questions.
Yes, ma'am.
For you. Okay.
All right, are you down?
I'm at, like, where licensing is and
Right.
recording.
Are you hiding back in there somewhere? I never see it.
Cause she's too little, you can't see her. I disappear behind my monitors.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm just right behind, I'm recording. You'll have to come on in through recording and then come back there.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to recess until 11:15 a.m. Good morning, it's 11:15 a.m. and we're here for a fairgrounds update.
Really not a lot. I mean, we've got a lot going on. We have Wasset, District 5 meet over the weekend. We've got the cutting horse and quarter horse this weekend, so 300 horses or so, not a huge event. Construction's continuing on the bleacher project for the rodeo grounds. You saw the concrete got poured this morning, actually. So that was a monopore, and it was 48 yards of concrete. It was a lot of concrete. That pad will be there during the apocalypse and beyond. So
It looked really good.
it looks good, yeah. And then they started pouring for the posts for the lighting project in Southfield this morning as well. So the 6 posts are going to be done. And I talked to the contractor and they thought that and Tom probably tell you this in his update as well, but they would start trenching tomorrow. So they were hoping to have trenching, I think, done by the end of either the middle or the end of this week or the middle of next week. So that lighting project's moving forward pretty well. We're struggling on getting seasonals. I don't think we currently have any outdoor applicants. Daniel's here with me to possibly lobby for $1 an hour raised. I still have a budget and I'll stay within that budget because now we're eating into the time that we would have allocated for those wages to be paid anyway. And so I would like to lobby for $1 an hour raise 2025. I agree with you, Rob. I don't know that it's going to make a huge difference, but I think anything we can do to try to throw some positivity towards that would help. I just don't know. I mean, McDonald's is paying what, $23 an hour or something like that. So I don't know if 2025 is a good number, but we've gotten a few office applicants. The candidate pool's not the strongest.
Yeah. Had one that vacated this morning, last minute, so.
Daniel's very nice and tactful in the way he said that too. Yeah, it was not good. We expected a person this morning and they didn't show up.
Yeah.
And didn't call. In fact, we had to reach out to find out what their story was.
We'll probably, so I was mentioning to Jim too, because of the timing, the school year and that kind of stuff, we'll probably at the beginning of May start to see higher applicant flows. But I think it was mentioned in our, I don't remember the specific date, but it was mentioned during a meeting that because we're competing with other seasonal workers within the agricultural industry, that it might behoove us to be closer to that rate.
So I'm still going to stay within my budget, as you all would expect me to, but because we're getting a late start, I don't think $1 an hour is going to make a huge difference in the impacts to the budget. But I do think it'll help candidate selection. So and we are, even struggling for the office position. We have one person that's planning on hopefully returning from last year in May. We're going to go through the interview process, and then we set up another interview for next week for another candidate for the office. So the colleges are starting to let out in the next couple of weeks. So I think we'll see some people. The only other thing is I'm obviously working with Barbara Durbeck on the one issue that we've had with a vendor. And I haven't heard any response to her last submittal to the district court office. I would like to know. She's been very good. I mean, her response was tremendous in my opinion. So I'm actually going to go to court with her on Wednesday, and then I'm ready to argue on May 14th. What the heck? So see, my updates are more fun than most of them, huh? They're a little more, you know, nothing seriously bad at the fairgrounds, so I don't have to talk about anything really bad. I mean, we have a whole lot of horse poop going on. That's really the biggest question we've got right now, but,
How much more of that racetrack are they taking out? Are they done?
Public Works is done, yeah. They told Tom Gaines that once the temperature got to a certain point, they would start doing seal coating on and crack filling on highways. And so that took that crew that was there away. Honestly, we only need to go about halfway on that corner, that end, and then slope it down and we'll be done. The other good project that's happening this week is the 30 trees are being delivered on Wednesday. So we'll start replacing some more. We're going to start putting them in places where we've seen dead trees happen. So if you look at the old pictures of the fairgrounds, there was a great tree line around the whole thing. So the goal is to try to do that. 30 is kind of our magic number as far as what we can actually handle for installation and irrigation. So
Do you think they're gonna come back and try to level up that ground out there at all with the
we're
grader or
hoping,
something?
if not, Tom was checking to see what the final number was from Public Works, because we had $200,000 budgeted for that project. And I think he was hoping then if there was money left, we could have somebody else come in and bring a road grader out. I've contacted a contractor for, it's under $2,000 to do some leveling in the rodeo arena because we had 230 tons of sand brought in.
Saw that.
And did you see that? There's a little bit of a bowl and a hump in there. So we'll do that, and maybe that contractor will do the smoothing out of the back area, but it probably has to go through a bid process because it's going to be substantially more. And then put some gravel in there. And
Nice, we could have another paving project come through.
yeah, would be, well, and next year I'm probably going to ask for a couple more stall buildings. We're still about 32 stalls short for some of our big events. And those are running about 190,000 installed with asphalt, mats, power water for every 16 stall building. So we'll see if we can get into that.
How long will it take you to pay off those stalls though? Because
we get $20 a night per stall, and it's a good question. I don't really have an answer off the top of my head. It'll probably take 10 or 15 years. Those stalls will be there for 30 years easy. I mean, a 30-year mortgage on theirs would easily get paid off. They're like hotel rooms.
I know, but they're not occupied that often. Because I mean, you have 700 stalls per se. That's a lot of horses at the place.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be cool if you had that many in town every day, but then we just need to create a new fairgrounds for events.
Yeah, well, we may have to, you know, at some point we may consider putting in another riding arena because we could handle 3 events if we had 3 indoor arenas easily. Because we have the camping for it. It's just the horse stalls. We have State Wasatch coming up in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and that'll be another big one. There'll be 500 to 600 horses on the grounds for that.
It'd be nice to just put a top over the outdoor arena.
That would be, and we actually had a steel company come in and talk about doing that. Well, we actually talked to Superior about those canvas covers over that, and so that's probably cheaper. It's $1 to $2 million to do that versus probably 6 to 7 to build a steel structure. So that wouldn't be a bad idea either. So you can't make a decision, but is any more questions on the 2025 an hour or?
It'd be 2045, right? With if it's $1, it'd be 2045.
2045.
I think you got to do whatever you need to do to make it attractive to get somebody in there.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna need people.
Right. We're to the point right now where the staff. I'm already having the outdoor staff do some overtime, and that's significantly more expensive than having seasonals. I did get another request, and I don't know if Barb shared my response for another. I don't think it was a spay and neuter clinic, but it was something similar to that, a freebie. We've done 2 freebies already. Well, one, and then we have another one already scheduled for this year.
Right.
And June, July, and August are not months that we can afford to let a weekend go in any building, so. So I responded and said, hey, if you want to do it in October, we're more than happy to accommodate people.
Yeah, I would think with 2 already scheduled, that would be enough for the year.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Anything else?
I think that's it.
Daniel's been really good to work with, by the way, just an FYI.
Well, we know that.
Yeah, he's been.
What age group do you need out there? 18 and over?
Has to be 18 and over, yeah. And honestly, there's a lot of things they'll learn, so just has to be somebody 18 plus. We'll teach them on equipment and everything, so. And obviously, somebody that can operate something safely without running into water lines. That's why I'm restricted to certain areas with the loader. But
Even experienced people.
hit things once in a while. I mean, the dent in my front bumper in my pickup will tell you exactly when I hit an ecology block on the fairgrounds a couple years ago. Any questions?
No, it's looking good out there.
Yeah, it is. It's looking really good. Grass looks amazing too, by the way. Steve Manil is doing an amazing job on it. He's fertilizing today, so it looks.
Oh, you guys do your own fertilizer, weed killer and all that?
Yeah, we get it from Wilbur Ellis. They bring us those big distribution trailers that spray the granules. And so drives that around.
You have to have applicare license to do that, or?
And Steven got certified in that this year, or last year. Tom took him through that process. All right, that's all I have.
Real quick, if I may, for my minutes, did the $1 an hour increase get approved by the board?
Well, it will be in HR.
Okay.
That was our update approval.
Perfect. So it'll be moved, not being done at this meeting. Thank you.
And I'm gonna slap up some Flannel Fest posters around the courthouse. I have some really big ones, actually. They look really good on the wall right behind you guys.
It's pretty awesome.
Huh?
Flannel Fest.
Flannel Fest, yeah. All right.
All right, we'll go into recess until 11:30. Good morning, it's 11:33 a.m. and we're here for a consent agenda review work session. We have an accounts payable batch for $12,283,580.32. Boom, boom, boom. Track construction new morgue. We have the creation of a new fund for the morgue. 314. I feel like that's 2 years behind.
Well, hopefully we'll find out more tomorrow.
No, I mean the creation of the fund.
Oh, wow, yeah.
It's like 2 years behind because I think in 23 we voted to put $500 to $1 million in there, and then in 24 we were going to put up to maybe $2 million in there out of REIT and ARPA. I don't think we ever did it, and then one rolled into the other versus accumulating. Mutual of Omaha.
Commissioners, before I forget, under the commissioners section, there's the request for funding from Hands and Paws for $6,300. There is also another request pending, as Jim was mentioning, that another organization has a request in for you to waive the fees to use the facility, and if you do or do not, is going to determine whether or not they put in that further funding request. And I think it was another $12,000.
Yeah, that came out of our meeting last week. And I left early, so I didn't know what transpired at the end of that meeting.
Yes, so on your agenda is 6,000 from hands and paws. And you'll have to
Where's that
determine.
coming out of, Barb?
Sorry, say that again.
Where's that money coming out of?
That's what the board will have to decide.
But it's on consent agenda?
Yes, because it's a formal request. And I know that Cindy had asked them how much money do they need. And so they put in a request for this. Trying to find the email from the other organization about waiving the fees.
Probably need to find out what account that can come out of the budget there.
I don't know.
Some other budget.
I wasn't on that meeting, so I'm not really sure.
From what I see, it's from ARFs, the Dave Helvey. He wanted the clinic to be held in the summer months. Jim McKiernan said he couldn't do it until October. So now we're waiting for ARFs to get back to us if they are willing to amend their clinic request for waiver of fees until October, because there was no time available.
So we're just waiting for them to get back to us then.
Correct for that one, but just do have the 6321 request before you.
Did Cindy have an idea what account that was going to come out of? Because I know we talked about it at our meeting last week.
I don't recall her proposing any fund, just asking how much that they needed. She had mentioned 12,000, and I don't know where her thought was where that funding would come from.
I mean, there's only a couple places it can come from, but it's whether or not they qualify to be used for that. So it could come from miscellaneous general government, which is usually the go-to, which I don't know if it should come out of there or not. You could do it out of REAP funds because, I mean, it's something adding value to the community, so I could see it coming out of there. Economic enhancement for the same reason, but I don't know if economic enhancement is supposed to be tied to a project, so I don't know if that works. But without knowing exactly the budgets and planning and how the funds are moving, I mean, it's only 12 grand, but still, I don't know which one she was thinking.
I am unsure as well.
Could we check with the auditor's office and find out before we make a decision?
Or you can hold it a week to see if Cindy can update you, or I can reach out. I can do both.
Why don't we just hold it a week then?
That sounds great. I'll send Cindy and Mandy an email to see where they were thinking, where Cindy was thinking and where Mandy thinks the funding could come from. And then I will get back to you as soon as I hear.
Okay.
Mutual of Omaha, so the decision, I guess, to pay for the errors made in accounting are coming out of this on item 3 for $10,374.78. Lighting project stuff. AJ's Lawn Care Maintenance Agreement for $47,000. Minutes. Hands and Paws, $6,321 request for a clinic in June.
So I see where they got the 12,000. We were within 12,000 of our goal. Why they're asking for the 63.
Yeah, I like the idea, but like, don't get T-shirts and stuff. It's kind of my opinion. Like, just put all the money into what you're trying to do. Like your food and drinks, $2,000. T-shirts, $1,300. Don't need all that. Just put that money into your space. But you're also trying to get donations from others. May 4th to 10th as Municipal Clerks Week.
Woo woo.
I'm trying to get pizza again.
If we could do tacos, because it's Cinco de Mayo Monday, that'd be great. Oh wait, I'm not here Monday, so if you could wait till Wednesday when I get back.
I think Monday would work. Yeah, the tacos, Brittany always got the tacos, and then the taco place moved, and the other taco place is too much per taco to get 30, 40 tacos. I think they're like $3.50 or $4 a piece. The other place was like $2 a piece when I would do that. And it was like 4, I think it might have been 5. I was just like, holy cow, can you do a deal? No. Okay. City of Ephrata SIP request to extend to August 20th, 2026 for their reclaimed water pipe project. Item 10, Hope Source CHG reimbursement for $34,443. City of Moses Lake Consolidated Homeless Grant reimbursement for $51,415.34. Renew ARPA request reimbursement for $12,309.33 for designated crisis response services. Renew ARPA request reimbursement for $14,520.24 for March 2025 suicide prevention services. Then we have number 14, and Grant County Fair headliner contract approval. We had a meeting on that last week, I believe. Westlaw renewal for prosecuting attorney's office. $38 months. $1,288 to $1,352 the second year to $1,420 the third year. Is this the Westlaw just for them, or is this the one for the public? Barb, do we know that? I guess it's the public one. Request to declare surplus through public surplus or gov deals for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 vehicles through Public Works. Got some good ones in there.
Yeah.
Request for replacement for central shop vehicle lift from VSG for $10,024.73. Current one is 22 years old. Interesting. Sometimes I think like when we're buying big things, if you bought them just locally in town, you would probably get them for much less money. But often they get sourced out. This has happened a few times where I like know the cost of stuff that we sell that's less than what we pay. And we're not the cheapest. Award letter for Ironclad Company gutter supplies in the amount of $2,205. Gutter brooms. And then Ironclad Company for broom wafers for Public Works for $27,234. And then call for bid for rock rake teeth. No bids delivered on time. Call for bids for mower blades. Renews Mattawa contract for $2,000 a month as discussed during the renew update with Del Anderson, as well as the coalition travel requests that he also discussed. And TS has some Adobe Acrobat licenses, 188 of them for enterprise, Creative Cloud, 16 of them, Illustrator Pro, be interested in who's using that here, 4 of them, InDesign and Photoshop Pro, be interested to know who's using that one also. And that's it. Are there any in there that had any real questions on?
I didn't have any. I looked at them all yesterday.
Yeah, the only one I have any questions on is who's using Illustrator and who's using Photoshop, because
True. Who would be using Photoshop other than maybe the fairgrounds?
I don't know, and they wouldn't be using it.
I doubt they'd be using it.
And who's using Illustrator? So Illustrator is basically like design. Okay. Do you have any items you want to discuss?
Something they'd be using at the building department, maybe.
I don't know. That would be the only one I could think of.
Commissioners, on the agenda is Commissioners' weekly meeting schedule. I don't know if somebody asked for that to be added.
Schedule, I mean, as soon as I hear that, all I would think of would be that there was a request to have less meetings in our days. Because that always gets brought up by a commissioner.
Yeah.
I know. Go ahead, Kevin.
The ones that keep, canceling it, we're sitting here doing nothing.
I don't know if you can hear me, but my whole computer just froze.
Good afternoon, it's 1:45 p.m. and we are here for a commissioner work session. We can begin with pending decision worksheet. Item number 1 is coordinate entry, 5-year plan to end homelessness is being worked on, and we'll bring updates as we go. Small attractive items, I believe, has been updated. I don't know if the theft sensitive asset policy has though.
I haven't heard that. I haven't seen that.
ADA access at museum is being worked on. Safety committee plan, I don't know what that means entirely.
Larry's working on that.
And the morgue, we have the meeting tomorrow that Kevin will be in for that one. So are there any items we want to add to the pending decisions form?
I don't have anything to add.
Okay. Do you have any topics you want to discuss today, Cindy?
Yeah, I guess just leaving that Gorge meeting or the Live Nation, they're calling it a safety meeting. What are the next steps with Dave leaving? I don't know if we've actually planned on doing additional road projects or widening out there at heading to the Gorge.
Yeah, I talked to John Brissy and Andy Booth today for like an hour about projects and different things. And so I basically talked to them about the plan of we need to make sure they make a request to maybe get some more LTAC for this year, for next year, and then kind of just look at what they want to do out of there for the next steps. Their plan is to kind of be in charge of what projects are taking place, and then Dave in his 2 days a week or 10 hours a week, he'll do basically just the PE portion of the work. So they are aware of that and they're planning and working on that for doing a request for the LTAC and for REIT for the budget. They have a $200,000 left for that Silica Road project right now. It's all for signage. And Rod Follett is currently getting bids to put those signs up. So the next portion, we're going to have to designate new funding for more widening for that original idea of that project. And I think doing an LTAC request would be good again, even if it's just a few $100,000, and then combine it with some REIT or another fund option. And keep going on that so we can get those people in and out and into the community to spend their money.
Yeah, well, definitely, I think if whatever they bring in, we could probably safely commit that to the roads and the infrastructure, because it's been going on for years and we haven't really kicked anything back into it because it's kind of a private entity. So it would be nice to at least update the traffic, some of the traffic flow that impacts the neighbors and those around.
I agree.
Yes.
Did you talk to Dave about Potato Hill Road UTV use?
So,
Because he had called me like 3 weeks ago, and he's like, okay, I've got a new idea on how we can move this forward. And I was like, oh, okay.
I've been asking.
Okay.
I've been asking for some speed limit changes out there because of how people drive.
Yeah, they drive 20 over.
I mean, no, it's 50, so they can think they can go 70. And it only makes sense to keep it 35 all the way so that they don't get the idea that they can speed up. Well, even same with baseline. It goes from 35 up to 50, and then people are doing 60 or 70.
Mm-hmm. No, it's the same with Stratford, and it's 35.
Yeah. So that was, I mean, I've asked a few times, but I don't know. We were going to do it a blanket with everything that's in the UGA, change the speed limits to the 35.
Yep.
That was the last I heard, and I didn't know if they were gonna initiate that, or if it needs to come from us, or, I mean, I would imagine that the county commissioners can say that's what we're gonna do. Everybody's on board with it, and then direct them to make those changes.
Yeah, we're waiting on what the state's gonna require the West Shore road speed to be before we update that, I think. So probably by end of summer, I'm guessing they'll bring one of those UGA resolution type things to us.
Right, okay. Yeah, I'd just like to see it get done, because it opens up, ATVs or UTVs being able to go in and out. And it also slows everybody down, makes it safer for everybody out there.
Yeah, I was in Wenatchee and I was having lunch, and they had a UTV pulling jet skis out of the river, and then just driving right down Chelan Avenue. I was like, geez.
Yes.
I was like, but we don't have it on Potato Hill Road. This is crazy.
Well, and the newer side-by-sides, they got air conditioning, roll bars.
Yeah, they're 60 grand.
I mean, they're like a vehicle. And people that own those aren't, just people that don't have insurance.
Yeah, I mean, they did have, this weekend was the most I've seen UTVs, ATVs on the road. And they were running four-wheelers on there too. We don't get too many four-wheelers in Moses Lake. I think I've seen a few.
I've seen maybe a couple.
And they're like 4x4s.
Yeah.
They're not Raptors or, Banshees.
Right.
Okay, I just was curious if you had been bringing it up and that's where it was getting some more momentum.
Yeah, I asked you a couple weeks ago.
Any other topics?
Pause and something. There's something. Hanson Pause. I do not believe they were at the meeting that we had, but they must have either been listening in or heard about it, because Carmen sent me a request, like a text message. And I'm like, you need to send it to the commissioners. So she sent it to the commissioners asking for this. So I just want to make sure, I believe this is different than, maybe it is the same, but I think it's a different ask than the other group.
Yeah, it is. And we were just trying to figure out where we're gonna take the funds from to pay these events.
Yeah, this is actually a spay and neuter, and the other was a vaccination clinic. So, yeah, that's a really good question. But I think if we do one, we probably have to do the other. So if we want to split it.
In that meeting, did they show you guys the budgets? I just don't understand the T-shirts and the drinks and refreshments and all that in their budgets.
They didn't show us that.
They weren't even at the meeting. So this is where if they were, I don't know who was representing them. So I don't know if they called in. I don't get to see who calls in. So I'm not sure where she heard that we were helping with, we told them to make a request for the vaccination clinic. And then literally right after that, I got a request, and I said, you need to formally request the commissioners for this one. So I don't know if they were listening in or somebody was passed on information.
I think that particular one, they had talked to Jim.
Yeah, this one is 100 dogs, 100 cats, spayed, neutered, vaccinated, microchipped. This one's from Carmen. The only thing, I just thought it was odd, the drinks, 2,000, t-shirts, 1,300. I guess if you're getting sponsorships, but when they do those front back t-shirts, they just, they charge a lot of money to have something.
Yeah, we typically don't pay for clothing. So I noticed when she included that budget that we would not be able to provide money for those additional, like the snacks and the t-shirts. But Bonnie was the one asking for the vaccination clinic. So that, again, was kind of a surprise, and I just had her send it to the whole entire board. So that's what she did.
And did you say what fund you thought this would be potentially out of?
No, because I was trying not to create a big public records. When we talked about Carmen, we can probably take it out of miscellaneous, Bonnie, miscellaneous general government, but she needed 6,000. And then we have a request for 6,000 for hands and paws. So I think we need to set a limit if it's 8,000, 5,000, and then just, I guess, look at the different animal assistance groups, because it's really hard to help some and not others. Because I think that's what happened. Bonnie asked for help, and we thought we could probably take some out of miscellaneous general government, but now we're getting more requests. More requests that we do not have money budgeted for.
That's what I was gonna say. I think people need to understand that we can't give money to everybody. It just doesn't work that way.
Anything else?
I don't have anything else.
Cindy, do you have anything else?
I do not. And thank you for the information, Rob, concerning the signage, because they were asking about the signage and I just didn't know where it was at.
Yeah, they have it all. They're just waiting on bids to put it up, I guess. And then they said they had 7 of the reader boards for that also.
Throughout the gorge. Yep. Like the lighted signs.
Yeah.
Construction signs.
Yep. The sheriffs will manage those units out there.
Did they ever get their insurance bonding taken care of with Blair? Because I know he was having some issues with them wanting to increase their insurance.
I'm not sure for Live Nations. I don't know.
I'm sure Blair will get it taken care of.
Well, we'll take a brief recess then until Daryl arrives, and then we'll jump back on. Should be any minute. Good afternoon. It is 2 p.m. and we are here with the treasurer, Daryl Pheasant.
All right,
Sorry, Daryl, I haven't paid my taxes yet.
no problem. We just got 19 million from the mortgage company tax services today, and then people are wanting to know if their taxes are paid.
Well, they might
Well,
pay
we
my
gotta get them
taxes.
posted first. They're the ones that chose to wait, hold on to the money and not send it for all this time. So, today we had two investments mature, 20 million. We have reinvested 10 million. We needed the other money to pay the schools' payrolls. That's today. And then we added 22 million to the state pool balance because we had a whole bunch of monies from taxpayer process on Friday.
What's the state pool right now?
4.34.
Not bad.
and my rates were 4.65 and 6.7 for 3 years and 3 years, 1 quarter, or both. I think both of these were 3 years. So we finally have carry report on it tomorrow, but our new system is now working completely, starting last Friday. US Bank finally gave us the information. We tested it and everything, and now finally the whole process is now through this as well. So we have a lot of phone calls, a lot of mail came in today. So we're just keep posting as much. We're way ahead of last year regarding to getting mail done and having more time for the employees to handle customers over the counter. I'm asking some questions that are making a entity uncomfortable. We have a plat that says Zipley short plat. They put on there the owner is Zipley, and then they emit an email that the owner is someone else. But then we have General Telephone as the owner, and they're trying to say, "Oh, these happened by mergers." Well, this one of them was a big sale of over $1 billion. We never got taxes on that sale, or any county in the state. But this is what happens with large industries that just create all these additional names to swallow up each other. They do this to try to avoid the tax on acquiring property. They never do deeds, don't do anything, and then they just pay on the things. It's sort of like the Gorge. The Gorge has a whole bunch of mobile homes that are still under the name of NCA Concerts. But they just pay them and never change the ownership of the titles. Even though that's gone through like 5 different ownership changes. And a bunch of years in a row, I kept asking, when are you going to resolve this and actually pay, get the titles to be changed into the Gorge's name, the current owners, and they just never get it done. This is what happens: is they keep acquiring the properties, and they know that if they actually go change things, that then taxes have to be paid on those purchases. So what they do is they just keep it at the same ownership and never resolve it as long as they can for the rest of their life, and never pay the taxes on these things and just let someone else own it. And this is, we see a lot of things, is like this Jackson Safety Systems. They bought Takata. They never paid taxes on that sale.
Why?
They never changed the ownership. I question it. Where's the ownership documents? Where's the excise tax affidavit? They said they were going to work on it. Never seen it changed yet.
Do you talk to the prosecutor's office about it?
Well, it's more of a Department of Revenue thing. It's just, this is not just a few industries. This is a lot of industries that do this, call it a merger, but then actually pay a whole bunch of money for the merger. A merger is not something that's automatically exempt. You're paying money for assets, then it's taxable. But then, if you never do a deed and it's always a handshake agreement, we'll just keep it in this name and we'll keep taking taxes on it and just keep using the property. Nobody pushes to actually change the ownership. So all these taxes don't get changed, get paid on all these sales statewide. So this is not unusual for this entity. This is so many different entities that do this in the state of Washington. These are very huge corporations and entities. They're not filing controlling interests. They're not recording deeds.
So what are they doing exactly?
They just use the property that's under the other entity's name. The other entities felt they don't own it anymore, even though no one goes change the ownership. They got their money. So I'm asking my problem was the assessor's office, the title company put on there, acquired a reference to an acquisition, but didn't reference any document for the acquisition. The This is Frontier. They just said that Zipley is the owner of this via acquisition. And I'm asking Frontier, can you tell me the document that was recorded about this acquisition, when it had happened? And everyone's trying to hopefully go away. And unfortunately, it's me signing a plat. And my duty is sign off on a plat. Is this taxes paid in full? Well, the taxes weren't paid in full either. So, and they
These
had,
documents are sent to the auditor's office and the auditors to record them.
that's the problem. The auditors doesn't check ownership. And an email today, they said, okay, actually Zippy doesn't own it, this other entity owns it. And I said, well, why wasn't their name on the plat saying they were owner? Here they have an email meaning that Zipley doesn't own the property, but they still have the plat saying they're the owner. And we're going with the assessor's office, they just let it go. So, but it's not really my duty to be the one that stops it. It should have been the assessor's office on the ownership, but they didn't. Because she's doing two jobs right now. She doesn't have time to do this type of research and ask questions. I have talked to the Department of Revenue. They may actually look into this.
Well, what do they say about it?
Well, if you're saying $1 billion got paid for an entity in the past, I don't think that was a merger. So they may be, I'm just providing interest, but then this is not the first time I've seen this where other entities are paying other entities taxes, but they say they're the owner. Then where's the deeds? Where's the documents to change ownership? Well, that problem would stir a question of taxability.
So you have other people paying the taxes for somebody else.
Right. Then they say they're the owner. They just haven't bothered to change the name yet. Yeah, it's just, we'll get some numbers, look good for the county for what you'll get tomorrow for tomorrow's meeting. And we're doing fine. Did you have a chance to ask the question to Melissa? When's the map's going to be updated, or did she not come again?
No, she was here this morning. I didn't ask her that quite specific question.
So is everything going fine in that office from the tickets I'm seeing? I don't know what she brings up.
She didn't bring up anything other than she had things going on in her house and loss of a family member. Other than that, that was
Another family member? Because she lost her husband years ago.
Yeah, somebody else.
Okay, unless it's her mother. Her mother was the only one left alive for family members, unless it's her kids or her sister. Okay. I didn't, yeah, because that, okay. Because last week she was gone because she had problems with her property.
She's having well problems.
So, let's see. I have a meeting in Davenport for legislative proposals. I think I told you last week the governor signed my bill. I believe I told you that, or maybe he signed it after our meeting last week. So now that becomes effective near the end of July, which then so then we have to hold our mobile home distraint after that date, just in case we have a mobile home that doesn't have a title, to make sure it falls under the new law. And it's plus and the surplus. So I'm not sure if I'll have any bills for a change for next year.
So what was that bill?
The bill is 5221. I had multiple things. One was to clean up the surplus monies of it. At the current law, the surplus monies, they had forever to apply for it, which created an administrative mess for the treasurer to keep track of something forever. when you have a mobile home distraint, you have excess monies. So I put in the proposal to match the foreclosure rules, which is 3 years, or if it goes to current expense. Then we also had, part of the bill was to change rules in licensing, where if there's a title that didn't have a VIN number that we sell in foreclosure or distraint sale, if it doesn't have a VIN number, normally the process is you have to wait 3 years before you can get a title. My law makes it immediate. No 3-year wait, or if it's in a foreclosure or distraint sale. We also had part of the bill, a section regarding if the amount of taxes to collect cost less than the cost of collecting it, that those can be canceled. So it's kind of doesn't make sense to be spending more money than actually the money you're collecting. So those are the pieces in the bill. So, yep. And so that'll be like my 7th bill I've had signed by governors over these years. A lot of them cleaning up mobile homes, trying to get them to be at the same level as stick-built owner and not treat them as second-class citizens. My air conditioner, I don't think works. So I got to figure out, since a past person, Jesse Huntwork, was the one that installed the last one. I got to figure out from him, what did I get and who do I go to have a look at it, since he's now doesn't live here anymore.
You need a contact person.
Yeah, I just don't know what type of thing I got for my central air system. So don't know who specializes in what types. First thing is I got to figure out what type do I have. It's a outdoor container, so.
I'll give you a couple numbers.
Okay. Well, I've been sitting in my house with a higher level of temperature this weekend.
At least it's cool at night.
Yep, I've been leaving the windows open. That's the problem. The freight is getting tough on big businesses closing down. All right, thank you very much.
He's a good guy.
Anything more you want to hear about before tomorrow's meeting?
No, I'll go talk to the mailroom when I get a minute.
Okay. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll go into recess until 2:15.
Okay.
Good afternoon. It's 2:17 p.m. and we are here for a new health update with Susie Fody.
Good afternoon. Our update, I want to start with the state budget came out, and while there might be a lot of people not happy with it, I'm thrilled. There was 20 million in it for victim services. We had asked for 25 million to cover the gap, and the 20 million is what they've been doing. It was just going to sunset at the end of June. So it's back in, and I'm actually breathing and sleeping at night again. So yeah, very good. I met with DSHS this morning about one of our contracts, and they're going to have new insurance requirements. I'm not sure if you all are aware of this for any other DSHS contracts, or maybe I'm just late to the game, but the 1 million single occurrence, 2 million aggregate is now bumping to 2 and 4. So I'm going to need to.
Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, I guess not. So just FYI, I might not be the first to tell you, or I might be. We have a new police chief in Ritzville, and I got to meet him last week. This one is probably more for Cindy than the two of you. She's served on our domestic violence and sexual assault consortium for more than a decade, I think. And over over the years, we've gone back and forth through a lethality assessment for law enforcement to use. It depends often on the prosecutor who's in the elected position if they want their jurisdictions to impose one. And I know Kevin brought it up last year sometime. So I know he's thinking about it. And the new police chief comes from Lincoln County, so tiny county. And their Lincoln County and Airway Heights have a domestic violence lethality assessment going on up there, and he really wants to bring it back to life. So just FYI, that's coming. It is a really good tool that law enforcement responding to domestic violence calls can run through a series of questions, and then they can trigger a protocol that will get an advocate involved right away for safety planning and protection order in case lethality is suspected. So I don't know if you're cheering on that one, Cindy. I'm sure happy about it.
No, that'll be good.
Yeah, really good. I think we'll be talking about it at the next consortium meeting, which I have a conflict because I think I'm in training that you all have asked me to be at on May 8th, something like that. So I'm not sure who all will be there, but it's going to be a topic of conversation. I'll have Tara run the meeting if I can't be there. And honestly, that's all I have. I was out last week with Children's Advocacy Center directors meeting, and this week I'm out with domestic violence directors. And so
Okay.
that's what's happening in my neck of the woods.
Cool.
Questions for me? Things you want to hear more from me?
How's everything else going?
Busy.
Busier than normal?
Mhm.
Just busy.
Busier than normal. We have had to relocate a couple of survivors out of the county just for safety's sake. So that's been a trying thing. And then last week, I don't know why, it was just a really high week for kid interviews. Lots of interviews last week. I don't know why. I hope and pray that that means this week will be a little quieter.
Well, for your case, I hope so too.
Yeah. Anything you want me to put on my agenda for next week or following weeks? Things you want to hear, want to know? Am I telling you enough stuff?
Yeah. Some weeks we have more questions and more things. Some weeks we don't.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming.
Yep.
Weekly.
Yes, thank you, Susie.
Yeah.
Is there anything we could do for you?
I don't think so, not right now.
A vacation or something?
Yeah, I'll bring you one of those, a request. You guys did sign my request. I'm gonna go down to Florida the end of June to see the last living relative in my mom's family and celebrate his 80th birthday with all my cousins. And then we're gonna do a road trip, believe it or not, from Florida to Nashville to celebrate my nephew's 21st birthday. So
That'll be fun.
yeah.
I just had a friend that went to Nashville with her grandmother.
Oh, yeah.
She looked like they had a really good time.
Yeah, Nashville's fun. So, all right, that's all.
Well, enjoy your trip. Thank you, Susie.
It's not till June. You'll see me before then.
I know, but you got to look forward to something.
Right? Put joy on my horizon. That's my motto.
We'll go into recess until 2:30.
Too
Good
early.
afternoon. It's 2:30 p.m. and we are here for the clerk's office update with Kim Out. Howdy. How's your day going?
Good.
How'd your end of last week go?
Pretty good.
Any trials last week?
Trials? Yes, we did have one criminal trial. I did not hear the outcome. I forgot forgot to ask. I usually ask just out of curiosity and I forgot to ask. Had the kickoff for the PDA
Oh yeah, you're doing that?
training.
Who's in this round?
Kevin and Phil Coates from the jail. Swahil, me. I think there's one more person. Somebody from maintenance, maybe? You know? I want to say it was one of them, either one of the maintenance guys or maybe from TS. I can't remember.
I missed it this morning.
What?
Yeah, they have them right in the middle of all of our meetings.
I know. I did get an email though that they had the videos posted already, so.
Yeah.
That's kind of nice that they do them so quickly.
Well, yeah, 'cause you don't have time during the day, so
Yeah.
a lot of those will be done at night.
Yeah. Yeah, so I started working on my homework. But I just scheduled out some time each day to work on it. Hopefully I can stick to that plan.
Hour a day.
Yeah, but I was looking at the time on some of those. It's like, now wait a minute, 30 minutes plus 33 minutes plus all these other things. That's more than, but hopefully it's more short days than long days.
So Kim, when they tell you need to spend an hour, they really meant it. Cause I thought, oh, I can kind of, like just read really fast or whatever, but the videos, you can play the videos at 1.5 and 2 times speed. And 1.5 kind of speeds it through two, when you double it, it's really hard to understand. Some of them it's okay, but some of the faster talkers, it's really hard to pay attention. But I did speed up the videos to 1.5 speed, and I just enjoyed it a lot more because it was just nicer to hurry and get through it.
You like those speed talkers, huh?
Well, I do. I have a hard time with slow talkers.
Okay, I'll remember that.
And you do not talk slow, Kim, so you're okay. But sometimes when people, it's just hard because that's basically what it is. You're listening to videos. So to listen to a video, it just really, it either has to be super, super exciting or, fast to hold my attention.
Yeah. Oh, so far, so good. I like the content so far. So, yeah.
And it was probably one of my favorite trainings that I've done, probably because you just kind of went over things a few times in different angles. And after 12 weeks, you kind of remember it just kind of gets instilled in you what they're trying to teach you. So I really enjoyed it.
Good. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it looked like it's gonna be interesting.
What else is new? Anything?
Same old, same old.
Maybe. Different. Same thing, different week.
Yeah, for the most part.
Well, we have some, sorry, Rob.
You're good.
We have some exchange students coming tomorrow. So I'm just finishing up the final touches, getting all their medical information to their host families and just getting excited. They're coming to Royal and they will be here until Saturday. So just working with the school system and the teachers that are coming. So I'm kind of excited about it.
And the expedition's here.
Okay. Yep. I got that information. I will be riding the bus tomorrow so I can just drive it home.
Is that our county exchange students or?
Yes, it is through Kamaki City and Grant County have a sister city relationship. So it started through the port when Mitsubishi Regional Jet was here. So it's just kind of a continuation of something that the port got us excited about. And it definitely, kind of, I think, winding down. I don't know if there's somebody else that wants to pick it up, but I don't see it really, the student exchange happening. We're kind of slowing down.
How many kids are coming?
We have 8 kids coming this time. Before they had 10. This summer we had 5. In August when Toyama sent them, and then we have 8. So, it's 8 doesn't sound like a lot, but then when you get 16 kids together, it starts, multiplying.
Do they need English interpreters?
They speak a little bit, and the kids do a pretty good job. They're bringing over 2 teachers, and Raina is the interpreter. And they have I think the bus driver. I don't know if that person is going to be helping the transportation person. So in the past, they've done pretty well, relatively, they're vetted when they come over here. So they do have to speak English, and they work really hard at, trying to present their message and trying to understand. And if they don't get it, you write it down, and then they'll understand what you're saying.
They toured last time. Are you going to do a tour of the county with them?
They're going to be in school. So, and they leave Saturday. So we will not have time for a tour. They're actually going to school, and the after school sports, their mayor wants them to see what school life is like. And so they're kind of immersed in the school system.
Oh. Well, cool. That sounds fun.
I assume you found houses for everybody?
Yes. I found houses and people that are going to leave for a day or two here and there. So it's just been an ongoing change of events, but I think we've got it nailed down.
Yeah, that's always hard, making sure people follow through on those commitments.
Yeah, well, we have a school, a field trip, and the Kamaki City does not want them to go on a bus ride longer than 2 hours. So they're going over to Seattle. So it will probably be farther than 2 hours away. So it was just kind of finding different activities for them to do while their buddy is away.
Well, I don't really have anything else. You guys have anything for me?
No, but we will run you down when we do. Thank you, Kim.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Kim.
Thank you. We'll go into recess until 3 o'clock. We're back for Superior Court update. Good afternoon. It's 3 p.m. and we are here for a Superior Court update with Crystal Burns.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you. I did want to share with you all that there was a new House bill that recently passed. It's 1174. I brought a copy to provide you if you would like. It pertains to court interpreters. So it doesn't take effect till the end of July. I should start with that. But before, we only were required to supply a court-paid interpreter for criminal matters or for matters where people were indigent. Starting the end of July, we have to supply a free court-paid interpreter to all people that need an interpreter. So it's going to be a massive cost to the court.
Let me guess, the state's gonna pay for it.
Yeah, unfortunately, no. As far as I know, as of right now, there's no funding available. There is a program through AOC for reimbursement for interpreters. I looked into this about, I would say probably 8 years ago, and they were only going to give us up to $8,000 a year. That was all they were going to reimburse us. And back then, we were required to provide a free interpreter for all matters just to get that $8,000. So we chose not to do it because the cost was going to be so much more. So I am going to reach out to them and see what kind of funding is available, if any more, but I'm assuming it's going to be very, very minimal like it was all those years ago. So I don't know what the impact is going to be. I have a feeling it's going to be pretty large. So I did want to just kind of give everyone a heads up that that is coming.
So with that bill, does that mean they're gonna allow you to start charging people for fines and?
Well,
Because they currently don't even fine people,
not much anymore.
so.
Yeah, and this just isn't even for people that are a party to a case. It's even if you're subpoenaed to as a witness,
Right.
all of that. So this cost could be very, very massive. So, and I don't even think it's just going to be the cost of the interpreters. It's what we pay right now for our interpreter coordinator. That cost is going to go up because he's going to be coordinating a lot more.
Is an iPhone interpreter, is that sufficient?
No, we are required to use a court certified interpreter. So it's not just somebody who's a qualified. Superior Court has to use a certified interpreter.
That's expensive too, isn't
It's
it?
extremely
How much are
expensive.
they paying? $100?
It depends. They all can charge really whatever they want to, which is also concerning, or maybe just for us who have to pay for it.
Yeah,
I would say on average, you're talking anywhere from $75 to $125 an hour, but they always charge at least a 2-hour minimum.
No, 2 hours.
Yeah.
And now you're gonna just have them all the time.
For all case types.
So could we incentivize an employee to go learn some languages and become a certified interpreter?
Well, the problem is obviously our most common language is Spanish, but that we have so many more different languages than just Spanish. If I had to just guess off the top of my head how many interpreters we use, I would say close to 15 different languages is what we're currently using that are just common ones. That's not even the ones that we use that are the uncommon, which those ones are very hard to find. Our interpreter coordinator right now is having to go out of state, which thankfully we have Zoom. And so those people are able just to interpret over Zoom. Otherwise, I can't imagine what the cost would be to get them here in court.
That'll be next year's bills.
Well,
Gotta
it'll
be in
be,
person.
yeah. Really, it will be starting in August, because I think this House bill goes into effect July 25th, I think it is. So I guess we'll kind of see at that point what the cost will be. It's really hard to say. I can't really even guess off the top of my head what I think it will be, but I just know it's going to be a lot of money.
Yeah.
But the US is the best.
I mean, if I went to another country.
They are not gonna give you an interpreter, buddy.
No.
You can just sit in there until you bring one.
Or you learn the language.
Yeah. Yes. So I'm the bearer of bad news today.
So what's the plan going forward? I guess we got a few months to think about it, but.
Yeah, we're going to have to comply with the new law. So we're just kind of gearing up and preparing to see what's to come. We'll just kind of have to take it day by day to see how many more requests we're going to get. The biggest impact is going to be for trials. Right now for court hearings, it's either our Spanish interpreters present who we're already paying for, or it's going to be the 2-hour minimum, which we're paying for right now. There's not going to be really a difference there. It's going to be our family law trials, which right now they pay for their own interpreter for their trials. So that could be, you're talking a couple week trial with 2 interpreters, you're maybe $30,000-$40,000 for a couple week trial. So it's really difficult to even try to guess what the cost could be.
Who brought this bill up?
I don't know. Would you like this copy of it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It should have the supporters on there.
I was
Somebody
gonna
with an interpreter company is who probably brought that one up.
Yes. I can tell you I'm on a listserv of the other Superior Court administrators, and this is not the same. I wasn't aware that this was coming, but they had reached out to the Supreme Court hoping that they would put a cap on interpreters of what they could charge, and then also not have this minimum of a 2-hour full day. So I'm hoping that the Supreme Court's going to do something in regards to that to maybe keep the cost down for these interpreters, but I'm not sure where that's going to go.
A lot of this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they struck most of it out, which before it was, they had to show a finding that they were indigent, and then we had to bear the cost of it. And now they struck all that out, and we just have to supply an interpreter for all matters. Once we get to that point in August, I'll start taking a very detailed log of the effects of it and keep you all informed. And then once budget season comes, I'll try to guess as best I can what we'll need for interpreter fees. But as of right now, I think I just kind of need to take it a day at a time and see what the impact is going to be, because it's hard to say at this point.
They have a list of credentialized interpreters.
Mm-hmm. So they are changing the term. They've always been called a certified interpreter. Now they're going to be called a credential, I think is what they're changing it to. Yes, and so it's a list on AOC's website, and we have to use a certified or credential.
I still wasn't that easy to get either.
No. I know a lot of interpreters who have had to take the state test numerous, kind of like the bar for attorneys that have to pass the bar. It's very difficult.
Just waiting to see if you have any questions.
Okay, so this is Cindy. I'm just trying to pull up credentialed, and I'm not seeing any credentialed interpreters. They're certified and qualified. Is that the difference? Or okay, certified and qualified, not.
So right now They're called certified. They're changing them to be called a credential interpreter. I think that all takes effect at the end of July. I'm not sure why they're changing the term from certified to credential.
Okay, because I'm just trying to do a little search on this and look for the difference, and nothing is coming up. So I'm wondering if it's a Washington State, just a new version of it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think they're going to be the same exact thing as the current certified interpreters.
Yeah, I think they're just changing it.
Yeah, changing the term.
Credentialize, it's the same thing, I think.
Anything else?
I'll read more on it.
All right. You have anything else for us?
No.
Any needs? Not
No,
yet?
I mean, just
money?
more money.
Yep. It's a pull request. Perfect.
I know.
Cindy, do you have anything else?
I do not, other than I'll continue to research the interpreter situation. So thank you for bringing that to our attention.
Yes, of course. Yeah, we can
Thank
talk
you
about
very
it next
much.
week.
We will go into recess until 3:30. Good afternoon. It's 3:30 p.m. We will stand at ease until our public defense update. Good afternoon. It's 3:30 and we are here with Brett Hill for a public defense update. How's your day going? Don't ask, Brett. He had a vibe about him. Break the ice.
It's happening.
Nice.
I guess update, we had our annual Washington Defender meetings this, it's Friday and Saturday, but they have a leadership meeting too, Thursday and Friday. So I've been there between Thursday and Saturday. Pretty decent stuff. We talked quite a little bit about this caseload limit business, and nobody has an answer still, other than the Council on Public Defense. The bar arm decided that they didn't want to recommend a delay in the standards, but still the Supreme Court hasn't acted. So the reason that's such a big question at those meetings is at the directors' meetings is a lot of the county ordinance, that you have to have an enabling ordinance, and a lot of the county ordinances tie their guidelines and their caseload limits to the WSBA standard. Luckily, I've looked at ours, and because I drafted it 10 years ago or something, and it's tied to the Supreme Court's standards. So that's pretty good news, because then we'll be obeying our own ordinance if we're not fully in compliance. So I don't know that we're in the same boat as some of the counties that are super concerned about it. A lot of the counties have adopted the new standards and the implementations and plan to do it anyway, but I think I haven't done a total dry run, but it was a graduated degree, and I'm not sure that we'd be out of compliance immediately anyway in the first year. We'll need to weight those cases and see about I don't know, there's a big fight whether you gotta comply with the WSBA standards or wait for the Supremes, but it's an interesting debate. At this point, I'm not sure I'd worry too much about it until we hear from from the Supreme Court. So anyway, so that's a pretty good deal. Little bit of good news. They were hoping that the legislature would fund a significant amount of money, a lot more, more money than they're funding now. We get our 105 funds. We usually get them at the first of the year, but it's about time to start applying for it, but for next year. And it's been somewhere around $80,000 to $90,000. We've been as high as 120 or something, but that's gradually decreased. It sounds they didn't fund the amount they wanted, but they've about doubled what they had last year. So I'm guessing we'll get about double what we've been getting. So if they apply the same formulas to the counties as they always have. So that'll, I don't know, bring in a little bit of money. And so hopefully that's what happens and it works. The other thing maybe to report, because we'll be sending the Board of Commissioners a contract relatively soon with the State Office of Public Defense they have this rural intern thing that they've got going, and we've applied and I've interviewed, and we should get an intern in the summertime that OPD they're not going to quote unquote pay for it, but we'll hire them temporarily. And the contract is about how that we promise to send them a report so that they'll set before they send us the money and that kind of thing. So I can't remember, they're paying a certain amount. We may end up, because our temporary budget and what we've paid interns traditionally might be a little more than what they're reimbursing, but it's, not more than $5 difference type of thing, not $5 an hour. So we'll get an intern for cheap. They also have and I don't know, we'll have to work out with the county, but $900 per month is for housing. And so we reimburse the employee for housing that way. But that all, I guess, will have to run through our county budgets and whatnot. But anyway, but so it's almost for free. We get an intern in the summer, so that'll be nice. And and the idea is that you can, that person likes working here, and maybe we recruit him next year, or that person gets the word out and tells people, hey, yeah, that was a good thing, and go to Grant County next year type of thing. So I suppose those are kind of the things that are happening right now, other than we're plugging away on our cases, that sort of thing.
Where would you normally get one of those interns from?
So far, we've advertised before and gotten a couple. We just do it ourselves and just pay for it ourselves, do the whole thing. And twice, it's just people who have known people who work here. One is a native of Moses Lake and called. I kind of know her dad. She called, and we ended up hiring that attorney, and we've been working here for several years. One had a friend that he roomed with in college, and came to stay with him for the summer and wanted to work here for the summer, so came and did that. He ended up doing something else, but so yeah, we just sort of word of mouth, and sometimes we advertise for them, but this year is the first year of this rural intern program that the state's funded to pay for interns for. I think they call it the recruitment, rural attorney recruitment, or something like that. So they kind of did the legwork and did the advertising and all that. And as I understand it, they're placing eight law students around the state in rural counties. And we had one, there was a time where it looked like we were gonna take 2 of them. But I think they had another county come up and so they placed one of them in a different spot. So.
That would have been cool.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping, I think it would have been fun to have 2 of them, because then they could feed off each other and you know, and you could give them a little more assignments, you know, more meaty assignments so they could work on things, that type of thing, you know. So anyway, yeah, I don't know if there's any other questions. I'm happy to visit with you. I don't know that I have anything else, I guess, is what I'm saying.
I don't.
All right.
If you don't, we don't, then we'll let you go.
Sounds good. You know where to find me if a question comes up.
We'll recess until 3:45. Good afternoon. It's 3:48 p.m. and we are here for our prosecuting attorney's office update. We have Rebecca Kaler online with us.
Hello.
Greetings. Hello there.
Yeah, so I just have one item that I needed to bring to your guys' attention, but we will need to go into executive session for, I would say, 5 minutes
And which one is it?
for litigation.
Okay, we will go into executive session beginning at 3:48 p.m., coming out at 3:53 p.m. for litigation, RCW 42.301101I. We are now out of executive session.
Rob, I thought it was 3:58.
53.
Oh, thank you.
48 to 53. Rebecca, do you have any more for an update?
No, I have nothing further. Do you guys have anything?
Nothing for me. Nothing for Kevin. Cindy, do you have anything?
No, I don't. Thank you, Rebecca.
All right.
Okay.
Have a great week.
Me too.
We are going to go
Thank
into
you.
recess for today. We will be back tomorrow at 8:30 for our commissioners meeting beginning at 8:30. Thank you.